Welcome to Bun and Build with Chris and Cappy.
Chris.
This is Cappy, and this is episode 7. Today's about trust or leave, quit or stay, fabs or facts, navigating life through choices. So now before we dive into today's big topics, let me hit you with a little bit teaser. Have you ever questioned whether a broken promise is worth forgiving, or is it time to simply walk away? Wondered how you'll know the right moment to quit your steady paycheck and leap into the unknown? Or been tempted by the latest viral diet, only to worry about the hidden dangers? Well, stick around because in this episode we'll unpack trust issues, repair or walk away, when to quit your daytime job, and weight loss and weight gain fads and trends. Let's do this. Before we start, guys, thank you for showing up today. And we are late because I wasn't feeling well in recording. And since it's Friday, I thought we should have a little drink. So hopefully, cheers. I don't get too lit on this podcast because Chris made this drink super strong. Please make sure to subscribe, follow, like, whatever platform you are on, comment, let us know any feedback. And thank you for tuning in. Let's do this. Okay, so today for family segment, we have trust issues, repair or walk away. I wasn't necessarily interested in doing this subject, but then I realized it's not necessarily only about me, and maybe we could try to look into it. I don't know. I don't feel like it's a big subject for me, but I guess it's big for people. And I think today it's even bigger now that I think about it. I think people have a serious issues with staying faithful, and the stories I hear for this new generation is even worse than previous generations. So I guess it might matter.
But I guess it's not about us. It's about advice and helping people. That's what we're here to do.
Yeah, and it's not only about relationship, like intimate relationship. It's about also friendships, like broken trust and stuff like that we want to touch on. So I guess we can give some feedback. I mean, it is a big topic. It's not that I don't have any experience in it. It's just that, I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. So let's see how it goes. Maybe the drink will help.
I know, sorry. It's because I'm so awesome. That's why.
Okay, let's not get carried away. It was my idea. But anyways. Okay, so I have some, I guess, a personal story about where trust was broken. Well, Chris will probably have a million. Actually, we have some questions for you that maybe you can answer for the ladies out there. But I guess I'll start with friendship, since it's a part of the topic. So for me, I think I've had many, many, many bridges burnt. I think one of the first broken trust that came to mind was actually, it was a friendship, but related to a guy. So you know that story. In college, so it was like my high school sweetheart, whatever. In college, I had this friend. I should have known better because she was a homewrecker. Like, all her guys were literally either in relationships or she broke up the relationship. So that should have been my first clues, right? I should have known better from that. But you give people the benefit of the doubt. I don't want to be judgmental. Maybe that's one of my problems. I don't like to judge too much. I've learned from that, but I'll try to learn not to be an a-hole because of past experiences. But she would talk that guy down and tell me how he didn't deserve me and how much he sucked and everything. And then when I left college to come back home, we had a friend in common that told me that she got with this unworthy guy that was apparently no good for me, who I deserve better. And after all this shit talking, and then after she got with the dude behind my back, and by the way, I have done so much for this girl. like I'm a Capricorn. So if we're friends, I am a ride or die hard friend. Obviously, when we're not friends, I will act like I've never known you. Like you will disappear. I will not lose sleep over you. But after all this shit talking and all putting him, and he was no good for me, they're married today. So, okay. So, yeah, that was definitely an experience in friendships and friendships with girls. And it's funny because when I was in high school, most of my friends were guys, which girls talk so much shit about. But this is why. This is why I get along with guys so much more. Guys are just like blunt. Like they'll just tell you like it is. Cap, you can't sing. You look great, but singing isn't one of your talents, they'll just tell you just like it is. Girls sometimes can be so conniving, so like behind your back. And it's not all the time. Like I have beautiful like sisterhoods now, but like I guess maybe at a younger age, but I think still to like in an older age, some girls can just be so conniving.
Yeah, but it goes both ways though. And the guy could just be waiting silent in the background while he want to tap that ass in the back of his mind. That's the second part of that whole conversation with the guy friends.
Okay, but that doesn't mean he's not a nice person or straightforward about everything else.
He's not straightforward, clearly, because do you know that he likes you or not? It's not straightforward then.
I don't know. I feel like that.
Because if you want to tap that and he's not saying that, then
yeah, but if he's still being respectful, I think that's completely irrelevant.
That's the kind of guys I don't want around. Clearly.
Well, you don't want any guys around, period. I no longer have a bunch of guy friends.
It's been great.
For who? For this side of the equation. But it don't matter anyways. People get old and we all have our lives. But yeah, so I think that's a story on how trust was broken. No, there wouldn't be it's repair or walk away. There wouldn't be any repair from this. There wouldn't be any coming back. Like I said, I'm a cap. Like that bridge is like burned. Like I will, like you work on it to let it go because obviously I was hurt, but I worked on that shit. And now it's like, whatever. Good for you guys. I wish you the best, and that just ain't got nothing else to do with me. Best of luck to them.
We should probably talk a little bit more about, I guess, trust in general. Like besides, I guess, your friendship thing, I guess trust with the person.
So what, in relationships?
Yeah.
So why don't you take that one on, Chris?
What do you want me to say?
Why don't you talk about broken promises in relationships?
What broken promises?
Why do guys cheat in relationships? That would be a broken promise.
I feel like you're singling me out.
Well, first, you're the only guy here. And second, that should be like, something you have experience in.
Well, unlike women, I think it's really more of we just can't help ourselves. It's like Rocky, our dog. Like, he just can't help but do stupid shit. Like, he should know better by now, but for getting beat and yelled at, but he still just does it because he can't help it. It's just how we are.
So you guys are animals. You're not humans. You can't control your emotion?
To some degree, no.
That's total bullshit. It's just like a pedophile telling me they can't control themselves, which they can't, but that you're singling guy in the same category, basically. So every man out there is going to cheat.
I didn't say that. Be asking why.
Okay, but that's a question.
But there's no real like, oh, because my wife doesn't do this for me. It's just like she could be giving you stuff all day before you go out the door, and then like 5 minutes later, it could be like, I'm going by the next chick. Like it's just, it doesn't matter. It's not emotional either, as they say. It's not like, oh, she's not satisfying me. She's a bad woman. I don't love her. It's just, you just have these other needs.
What needs if they're being met?
It's just guys. Guys are not meant to be monogamous, honestly.
Do you believe that?
I think so. I don't think we were necessarily designed that way.
So the Muslims have it right.
I believe to some degree, yes. Not saying it's normal or I think that's the most ideal way, but I don't think we were meant to be like that.
I don't think there's anything wrong with the Muslim way if it works for you. Like, I believe whatever works for you, I think it's okay. if you're able to deal with it. I wouldn't be able to deal with it.
Yeah,
I would like to put that out there.
Yeah, it gets to me like if you have what 5-10 wives, like I don't know, like dealing with some different personalities. I don't know how that works out. It'd be interesting to like have a show about that, to see the day in the life of this Muslim dudes.
I'm sure there's a YouTube video about that.
Their wives, like that would be actually a pretty cool.
We should look that up.
Show to record, whether they do that or not. But that would be pretty awesome to see how they all get along. How the PMS thing is, it how the sexual is it like one get ignored, like how does it is like one wife like that nobody is like I don't care about her anymore, but she's still my wife.
That's crazy though. They're probably all on the same cycles because all women sync. That means you can't have any intercourse with anyone at the same time, like during that same week.
Stuff.
Yeah. Anyways, I didn't even consider that.
They all got mouths and hands.
Oh my God.
And feet.
Gratefully, my son doesn't watch this show. I guess. Okay, so there you have it, ladies. You can do whatever you want. It's not you. I could have told you that it's not you, it's him. Well, not always, but
as you said, though, it's like the woman always get more emotionally involved. Like the guy can just go ahead and just bang somebody.
You mean if
like,
she cheats?
Yeah. It's because it's more of an emotional thing for a reason. But the guy will just go bang somebody and just smile at you the next day. It's like it's nothing. It's not a big deal.
Some women can be like that though.
Of course. There's always those more masculine women out there who just like they're boss bitches and it's like they run shit.
I find that crazy. I can't I don't know. I couldn't
I saw the Instagram post. I think I showed it to you where the boss chick, the chick came out the Lambo and escorted 2 chicks in the car. He kissed
that was
one,
weird.
Put one inside the car, the next one inside the car, and walked around. He was pimping.
That was so weird. It was weird AF. Yeah. So why this topic matters? Because trust is the foundation of any relationship. That's really true. I don't know. Like, could you stay with somebody who cheats?
It really depends on the circumstances, honestly. Maybe you've cheated already. I could be under your mind too, so you're aware. You've cheated already, so if she cheated, like, you're pissed, but you maybe like, you know what? I can give her a little leeway because, I fucked up in the back of my head, but she didn't catch me yet.
Oh, wow. That's true.
She didn't catch me yet, but, I fucked up too, so it's, it's not as big of a deal. It depends on who it is, what it is too. Like the cheating cycle, like how long was it? Because as we mentioned earlier, women tend to be more emotional stuff. So is it a one-off thing? You just randomly got drunk, you messed up in the guy, or has it been like you've been cheating with this dude for like 6 months? And then it's like, nah, bitch, you gotta go.
What about if she's cheating with a girl?
Of course, most guys don't care. You're like, all right, let's go threesome.
Well, there's no threesome. It's just her and the girl, and then you and her.
I watch.
Oh my God. So I could cheat with a girl.
Yes.
That's okay. Can I have a girlfriend on the side?
Yeah.
That is so weird.
I'll watch.
No, it's just us.
It's better than porn.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Put it on camera.
You're such a hot mess.
Put it live so I can watch.
You cannot cheat on me with a dude. FYI.
It wasn't part of the arrangement.
Okay. So I guess for some facts, trust is a cornerstone of healthy relationships, helping partner feel secure and supported. That's apparently a study. I could have told you that. We don't need a study for that, guys, but okay. Research published in Personal Relationships show that while trust can be rebuilt after a breach, it requires consistent effort, open communication, and a willingness from both parties to engage in the process. Trust issues are common. There's a study that found that nearly 6 in 10 adults have experienced trust issues in at least one significant relationship, highlighting how widespread these challenges can be. So, yeah, I think if you do have it, you definitely have to do the communication thing. And I think to me, it's becomes really annoying because I feel like at least for a while, I want to know where you are, who you're talking to. Then you have to start checking. I feel like, I don't know, it puts so much pressure and like you can forgive, but I don't think you'll forget. And I think that's the big thing.
I think we should also go over different types of trust situations we have because we mentioned, I guess, the friendship. We mentioned, I guess, the sexual girlfriend
Well,
type
relationship, private relationships or whatever.
What other types of trust issues can you have? Secrets, I guess. Secrets, being out, doing whatever you're doing, having fun with the boys, not saying where you're going, I guess, stuff like that.
Oh, you mean not as far as cheating?
Yeah.
So just you're a liar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a big problem. I think that happens a lot. But I think there has to be a limit on the type of lying you're doing.
Yeah.
And if you're going out with the boys, like, why are you lying about that? I think that means you have a bigger problem in your relationship.
Not necessarily the boys, but just
but
like
that happens. So
you
to me,
coming
you have
home
a
late.
bigger problem.
You know, you're coming home late, or you're out, or you said you were over here, but you went somewhere else. Maybe you think that she's gonna get upset because I'm out drinking or something or whatever it is.
Well, an example would be the strip club.
Yeah, sure.
Wives, I guess, girlfriends who don't want you going to the strip club. I think that's a big lie in relationships. I don't see what the big deal is, but if anything, I'm more offended that you went without me. Like, you couldn't swing by and pick me up? That's kind of rude.
Oh, so I can hear that one though.
No, we're okay because Ty doesn't listen to the podcast. We're Gucci. Yeah, so, but any type of lying, cheating, like, to me,
About
like,
money, the lie, finances.
well, I think that's a big lie
issue.
in long-term relationships and marriages, because we know finance. I think finance is money issue. I think is the second biggest end of marriages. I think, I guess, after cheating and stuff. Like, yeah, that's why when we had the conversations about money and stuff, it's important that you guys are on the same page, or conversations you should have before, because if you're not on the same page with money and then you're lying, it's not gonna work. I told you I watched that one reality show. It was The Real Housewife of something. I think it was New York. And then she sold their crypto. No, he sold their crypto early without telling her. And then when it went up, she was so excited so that they could pay some debts. And she wanted to use that money, and she found out they don't have any more crypto. Like, he sold it without telling her. Like, yeah, that's a problem. You guys are supposed to be on the same page. She considered divorcing him. Like, money is a big thing. And it's a lie. Like, you're supposed to be in a relationship. You should communicate and share things. You shouldn't do things by yourself.
You shouldn't, but oftentimes it becomes something you want to talk about either. Like, in that situation, becomes, especially for a guy, it becomes embarrassing that you're not able to provide, or you fucked up, like you lost money, and like it's something that you hopefully you could fix, especially if you're self-employed. I guess if you have a 9 to 5 where it's like you have X money, but if you're like a business person or you're investor or something, you're hoping that whatever you fucked up on, you can go ahead and hopefully fix it and it'll go away. That's another thing too, where it's like, yeah, as a guy, we're all proud and we don't want to admit sometimes. Some guys don't want to admit that they fucked up on certain things, especially on money. As you said, it's a big deal. Should be pissed. So it's like he's hoping that she won't remember it, or it'll come back, or I can put some money back, something.
Well, she was more pissed that he didn't tell her. Like, if she would have still been pissed, but not as much, because it would have been the same for me. Like, you should have told me.
It's how it happened. Did he explain why it happened, why he did it in the show?
Honestly, I don't remember. I just remember that part. I don't remember why. He did explain, but I don't remember. I guess the root causes of trust issues, I think that kind of goes back with like some of our past shows. We've only had 6 past shows, but I feel like when I talk now, even with people, when we're talking at Easter, every time like I was talking to someone, I'm like, oh guys, I have a podcast about that. I feel like we've covered a lot of stuff. I guess maybe because we covered 3 topics. True.
Yeah, so 3 times 6 already.
Yeah, and it lasts for life, so the shows.
So we have 18 topics already.
Yeah, and it was a lot of like everything I was talking to people about. I was like, oh, you could check my podcast for this. And so I said past topics because we have root causes of trust can be unresolved past hurt, miscommunication or misunderstanding, and pattern of dishonesty or infidelity. So unresolved past hurt, I don't remember which episode, but we had that one where it's like childhood trauma or past traumas, or you could just have like, if you were abandoned as a child, like you might not really be good at relationship because you don't know what a relationship looks like. If your parents were divorced, you don't know what it looks like for two happy people to stay together married for 30 years. So all that affects your relationship and how you're able to be in a relationship with someone.
And we didn't even talk about it, but trust issues, it could be trust issues that you have no reason to be even having a trust issue in the first place because you had a boyfriend cheat on you before. The next person or the next woman or whoever it is the person paying for it, often because of your past traumas.
Yeah.
That boyfriend cheated you over, he screwed somebody over, or your wife or ex-wife, whatever. But now you go into the second relationship thinking, oh, this person might do the same thing to me, because you don't have that resolved issues of, it wasn't you or whatever it is you believe forever that thing can happen to you again, instead of thinking that it was just a one-time thing. You've learned, you've done better, you found somebody better.
Yeah, so you may be closed off or a douche because of that. Communication, we had that topic about when we were talking about relationship, how communication is the main key. I mean, nobody's perfect. Things happen, right? Like, we've been married for 10 years. I mean, like, I think it comes to a certain time in your relationship, like you said, like, if it's a one-off, am I really like getting divorced after 30 years for a one-off chick after I put all this work in this relationship? I trained this dude, I grew everything. Like, am I really letting this go over a single hoe that's not even worth it? Probably not. Am I going to make your life miserable for a while? Fuck yeah.
See that right there is the question there too, is like, do I want to deal with that situation too? Although I fucked up, but it's like, do I want to have a miserable life now because I fucked up?
I didn't say life. I said for a while.
Why it's too long?
Dude, you fucked up. You gotta like get a little something. Like, you have to feel it. Like, it can be all rainbow and sunshine. This isn't you fucked up and then you get to eat your cake too. No, like, nobody can move on that fast. So I guess then what, couples therapy you have to do? You have to do trauma work on your own, lots of FTP tapping, lots of work. But I guess it's not like an answer like that fits all. But I also think that you shouldn't do things to please people. Like, if you feel like it's not going to work out and you can't do it, just leave. If you feel you can't forgive the person, just leave. Don't stay in it, like you said, and make the next 30 years like impossible. That's not worth it. Like, you might as well. But if you know you can work it out and you're willing to work at it and to forgive the person, then, try. And if it doesn't work after a little while, then you guys can go your separate ways.
That's the whole point of it. You have to realize, is it actually going to get fixed, or is it just going to be, I'm just wasting my time on. Well, I guess it's, if you fucked up and you want it to work, I guess you got to deal with whatever comes. It's like, you got to be realistic too. Is it really going to be something you could deal with and let it go at some point? You know what I mean? Like, are you going to keep remembering, oh, she fucked this dude, or he fucked this dude, or whatever it is? Like, are you actually going to be able to let it go? Because then it's no point of you keeping yourself in that miserable state, and I guess being miserable with the other person being miserable too, because it's never going to be resolved if both parties can't work on it together.
Yeah, because if it's like you say you're willing to do it, but for the next 30 years you're not having any sexual interaction because the person cheated, then yeah, you should have probably called it quits. It's like,
and that's another thing too, right? As you said there, how do you get back to the sexual part? Is that ever going to come back? Is it going to be like 6 months? Then you're creating the whole cycle again, honestly, especially with a guy. He might.
Dude, you fucked up. You can't wait 6 months, bro.
Some guys might, some guys not. It's like, fuck it.
Then you have a bigger problem. You just need to go period T. She ain't losing out. She just got saved. That was God working in her favor. You gotta go. If you couldn't wait 6 months, you got a bigger problem. We're humans, not animals. You have controls over your feeling.
I don't know about most guys, but I think guys have less of an issue starting over than women. I could be wrong, especially older age. Like as a woman in her 40s, I think a lot of times they don't want to start over. But as a guy, I don't think he would care as much.
I think it depends on my situation.
Oh, money
If I'm making my own money, I'm secure, I'm comfortable with myself, I'm confident. Deuces.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
I'm gonna hurt, but I can walk away.
money too. It's the self-esteem part.
Well,
What
that's
am
why I
I
said
gonna
if I'm
do?
confident, like if
Yeah.
you have all those boxes checked, and I'm not saying you're not gonna be hurt, but you can just heal on your own and then find something, better. You don't have to stay in it. Where now, if you were a stay-home wife, maybe you have a prenup or something, you're gonna come out with nothing. You haven't worked in God knows how long to really start in your like. And if you're not confident, some women can do it, they'll just start their own shit. They have but some women can't. Haven't, all they know is that family, then that's a whole different story.
They have the family and they got 5 kids.
That's a whole different story. So I guess you have to see what situation is and you have to know what works best for you. Everybody's different. I don't know. So yeah, childhood experiences play a role, which is what we said, and we had a podcast about that, found that an individual who experienced neglect or betrayal in childhood were more likely to struggle with trust in adulthood. That's why we had that whole podcast. You got to fix all your childhood traumas in order to move on with your life. And we had ideas on how you can do that outside of therapy. Research in interpersonal communication studies show that poor communication is a leading factor in perceived breach of trust, even when no betrayal occurred. Yeah, you got to communicate people. And patterns of repeated betrayals. Some institute works on relationship stability highlights that chronic dishonesty often leads to long-term resentment and emotional withdrawal, making trust repair significantly harder. Basically, it really depends. Repairing trust, I guess we covered that. Well, open and honest dialogue, setting clear boundaries and expectations, and consistency and patience. We kind of covered that. We did say you have to communicate more. The other person is probably gonna want more. The setting clear boundaries and expectation is the same thing, I guess, we touched on in the way that, like, you guys have to make sure, like, you can keep bringing up, the situation. You have to be willing to work on forgiving it. The boundaries might be, I don't know, if the guy cheated and he was going to be at a late work night, maybe like try to call if you have another late, but a real late night work this time, call, stay in communication, and I don't know, maybe send a picture or something. Like, you have to work on making the other person comfortable until they, like, they can't get past the trust issue. Maybe share your location on your phone and stuff like that so that the person can be fully comfortable.
You see, that's a trust issue right there. I gotta send you where I'm located. You don't trust me to say where I'm at?
No, bitch, because you lied to begin with.
Okay, that's a different conversation.
That's what we're talking about.
So you're saying after they fucked up?
Yeah, after they fucked up. This is like how you get back. Like, you're going to have to make some effort. Christopher, I don't feel like you're understanding this part.
Yeah, I forgot the title, Repairing Trust. I get it.
No, like, even with the title, I don't feel like you're understanding, Mr. After 6 months, if this isn't working, I'm bouncing. Like, please excuse him. He is better trained than this.
Some patience. I need some patience.
No, you definitely need some patience. Rebuilding trust takes time. You see? You have to work at it. The importance of apologies and accountability. Meta-analysis in personality and social psychology review found that sincere apologies and acknowledgement of wrongdoing significantly improve the chances of repaying trust. So in this relationship, that would be a problem because Chris is never wrong and he doesn't apologize.
Yeah, so why I'm apologizing for if I did anything wrong?
You see what I have to do with?
If I didn't fuck up, what am I apologizing for?
This is if you fucked up. I know you're not perfect. You do fuck up.
Okay,
You
then.
would try to talk your way out of something like crazy. Even your child says it. It's ridiculous. Boundary setting a healing tool. A 2021 as a healing tool. Sorry. A 2021 study in Journal of Marital and Family Therapy showed that couples who established clear boundaries post-betrayal were more likely to regain trust over time. Boundaries are important. And time as a critical factor. So yeah, you have to give it time, according to psychologists, which makes sense. More than 6 months sometimes, Chris. More than 6 months. Time. As long as it takes. Not 30 years, but more than 6 months, Chris. We covered that already. Walking away, knowing when it's time to let it go. Like, if you know you're not gonna be able to make
Let's throw this
it.
out to you, just to play it out. So you cheated, and I don't want to touch you. I don't want to have sex with you, and it's been 7 months, 8 months, a year. What are you thinking?
I'm a girl. I'm not an animal. I can last 7 months.
It's not really about sex, though. I'm not touching you. We ain't cuddling. We ain't doing no footsie in the bed. We ain't doing the hugging randomly. There ain't no kissing at night before bed. Or when we go upstairs, and another kiss when we went to the stairs.
We get it. Lots of kisses.
You ain't get none of that.
Well, luckily I got a dog. Lots of cuddling with Rocky. I don't know. Like, if I messed up, I guess, like, I have to deal with it. Lucky for us, I'm perfect. Walking away, knowing when it's time to let it go. Repeated breaches of trust. Yeah. So if it's like the guy Chris talks about and you can keep it in your pants even after you messed up, like, bro, gotta go.
I think definitely like one time. If you're doing 2-3 times, you're just a fool.
It's
bro.
a pattern.
Yeah, you're the fool. Like, I'm sorry, bro. Even the second time, maybe a different story. Time passed, but bro, if it's like 3 times,
it's a pattern.
Yeah.
You guys have a serious problem in that relationship. Call it quits.
And I think too with women, especially, I think you need to just realize that maybe it's not only the guy. It could be sometimes you, something that you're doing, something you're lacking. Maybe it's what you're attracting.
Something's not working in that relationship.
You know what I mean? And you also need to feel that you're better than that. Like, why even?
That's true. Why you keep pulling up with it, right?
You keep putting up with it. You know what I mean? Like, it's also about being mentally strong. You need to be, even for not this guy, the next guy, like, you have to be personally feeling good about yourself, because why are you letting that happen to you? Because if he's most likely cheating on you more than once, I'm pretty sure there's other issues besides cheating in that relationship.
But not even for the next guy, for yourself. That's why we talk about it in other shows. Like, self-development is so important. You're going to be strong on your own. Like, you have to be able to stand on your own before you can stand with anyone. I truly believe that. Or at least learn to be on your own in the relationship that you're at, because you are growing together. Like, we've been married for so long, like, we grew together. But, like, you have to, like, strengthen yourself as a person, as an individual. You can't be the same person, like, year over year. You have to become a better version of you. Or you're just going to be a doormat for that guy or that girl for life. And nobody wants that.
This goes for guys too. I mean, there seems to be a new trend of weak ass guys out there, and it's so sad.
It doesn't make it weak.
No, bro. There's a new trend of that's going around.
Okay, I can agree on that, but that doesn't
mean... guys that put up with all the women, bashing them, putting them down, the simps, it's like, it's not a good trend.
If you when to walk away, since, like, you interrupted me with your foolishness, the repeated breach of trust,
verbal abuse,
emotional and mental health impact, well, I guess it's the same thing. Like, if you're anxious, depressed, you're losing self-worth and stuff like that, yeah, you gotta move on. Like, basically, you can deal with it. And that would be Chris, I guess. Lack of effort, of accountability, because Chris would apparently make no effort or anything. So we know where we would stand, guys. Yeah, if the person refuses to take responsibility, make changes, or engage in meaningful dialogue, it may be healthier to move on. Like, bye, Felicia. Don't want to be with you. The effect of chronic betrayal on mental health, a study in clinical psychological science revealed that people in relationship with repeated, I guess you were saying that, trust violations are more likely to experience depression and chronic stress. That's crazy. Patterns of behavior predict future actions. Yeah, if you keep doing the same shit, like, just let it go. Self-worth and relationship decision, a study in self-identity found that individuals who prioritize their own emotional well-being by ending toxic relationship reported improved self-esteem and overall happiness. I guess we said that. We're like even ahead of like the studies. Look at us. Okay, so basically to end this segment, repairing trust will require time, consistency, and genuine accountability from both parties. And remember, guys, trust can be in personal relationship, like, you know, in your intimate relationships, but it can be in friendship. It can be with your family. It could be with like any trust in any relationships. Um, if someone breaks it, they should work on it. They should apologize. They should make actual effort. If you can't deal with it, just move on, as I did. Like, there was no way I was putting up this shit. But you have to know for yourself, is it worth it? Is it not? Can you come back from it? Can you not? So you have to be able to answer all of those things. Um, and then also when the trust is broken, like, if you guys are gonna work on it, like, why did it happen? Like, you guys should talk about that, communicate, and set boundaries, but don't ignore it and don't work on it. Like, maybe there was an issue. Like you say, sometimes it's not necessarily for any reason, but a lot of the times it could have been for a reason. Like, you know, like for guys, like, sex might be more important than some women. So, like, if she wasn't like, I guess at a certain age, some women don't feel like, and I read that in social media posts, like, people haven't had sex and like it's not that important, but like, is it the same way for the other person? So, like, you guys should talk about that, because then they might be looking for it somewhere else if you're not communicating about it. Like, it might not be important to you, but it might be important to the other person. So you should still talk about it. And whether it's the woman or the man, if you feel like your needs are not being met, like, and you're in a long-term relationship, you guys should be able to talk about that. And if it's not going to get better, then, you know, you have to consider leaving.
So, what if the other person is not willing? It's the relationship issue. What if it was, let's say, a family member or a friend, and I guess they don't see any issue? Should you just say, all right, then fuck it, just move on?
What do you mean, like a friendship?
A friendship or a family member that they keep breaking that trust barrier or whatever it is that they're doing.
Yeah, you move on. We all know I'm not past cutting family members either. Like, I will just cut a person. Like, I feel like I used to need people's, comment ça s'appelle? People's approval, yes, so much, because I was so insecure. And as I grew and I worked on self-development and I became more comfortable with myself, I have not past cut. I have no problem cutting anyone. Like, I will value my peace over anything else. Like, if you gotta go, you just gotta go. Like, you're not aligning with who I am anymore, or we don't have anything in common. Like, you're not bringing any value to my life. I'm not bringing any, works both ways. I'm not bringing any value to your life. Like, and if it's not gonna get anywhere, we're not helping each other, and we're just bickering or having the same issue over and over, then it's gotta go. And because you have been friends with someone for 20 years doesn't mean that sometimes, like, you know, your time is over. It can be sad, but, you know, like, shit happens.
Before we close, what about women who have kids that they just want to stick around in a bad relationship just because they feel they can't do anything else after that?
I don't think you should. We covered that in a topic before too. I don't believe you should stay in a relationship with kids, because the kids can't feel it. And I believe it's hard to start over, but I also believe that women are superheroes. Like, We have like powers that we don't realize we have. So when you remember who the fuck you are as a woman, you can do anything, but you have to be willing. And to me, usually your kids will get you out of your funk because you want to get your kid out of, like you want to do it for your kid. Like I started working out harder in the gym because Ty gave me, like a gym workout. Like you will do anything for your child. You might not do it for yourself, but you'll definitely do it for your kid. So if you're not getting out of this situation for yourself, get out of it for your kid because your kid sees it. The relationship you're in is what they're going to mimic when they get older. So if your husband is beating you and you have a son, your son is most likely going to beat his wife because that's what he knows. He thinks that's what love is. If you have a daughter, she's going to think it's okay for a man to beat her because that's what she thinks love is, because that's what she suffered at a young age. And what is it they say? It's until like 7, you really form your core memories and your core values of what life is until the kid is 7. So you have that time to mold. So if a 4-year-old child, a 6-year-old child, boy, girl, whatever they saw in that house is what they're going to mimic in relationships. And if they saw two people who never talk to each other, they're going to have problem communicating in a relationship. So you think you're doing the kid a favor by staying together, but you're not. You're better going to find somebody that you can show that kid what a real beautiful relationship looks like. Like get out of it.
Yeah, I think the hardest problem about letting go is often the stuff you put in your head. It's always a mental game that it's probably stuff that making it harder in your head because you're thinking about it, this scenario and that scenario, but just doing it is often easier because then you have to just jump that bump of just doing it, and it's often end up be working out most of the time.
It really does. The scariest part is really taking that leap.
Yeah, the scariest part is just jumping over it because it's all the mental games you play in your head and the what if this, what if that, this scenario, that scenario. But I mean, if you think about it and plan it out right, I mean, it's always gonna work out. You're sure gonna have some friends, put some money together, just it'll work out. And staying in it for years and years is not really the solution.
Hoping of being miserable.
Yeah, that the 30 days of maybe suffering,
struggle,
but eventually you'll figure it out, get that job, stay with a friend, whatever. For it'll work out versus just doing it.
There's always light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
You had anything else you wanted to add to that one?
That was it.
Okay, so I guess we didn't do so bad on this topic, hopefully. We'll see. Okay. Let's go into segment 2. Career and entrepreneurship, when to quit your day job. I think that's a topic that everyone wants to know, which is another reason why I put it on the thing, but it wasn't really anything I cared to cover. I think I'm going to have a few topics I don't care to cover, but I think are important or I see popping up and stuff.
I think you need to get over the thing you don't care to cover.
Well, it's not that I don't care. Well, I ended up having stories for the previous one, which wasn't another issue. Like, if I don't have, I want to come be able to give feedback. It worked out. So hopefully this can work out too. I'm sure it'll work out, but let's see. I don't have any experience on when to quit my day job because I haven't been in this situation.
You have to have experience to give advice. I mean,
well, that's not what I was going to go with it. I was going to say, so I don't have a story to share. We know you don't have a story to share because you have only worked for yourself.
Sorry, bro.
You've never worked for anyone else. So you don't have a story to share. But I can give my opinion on how I would do it if I had to do it. And based on having worked for myself, what I think is the best way. So I don't have a story to share. Chris doesn't have one because Chris has always worked for himself. And me, I never built anything to quit. I just had to quit my job. That's really how it happened. If you haven't seen the intro podcast, I quit my job and just went straight into helping Chris while we're supposed to look for another job, air quote, for those who can't see the podcast. And then I never left. Like I just ended up working with him. So I've never had that issue either, although I did work with people before, but I was younger, so I wasn't doing any side hustles or anything like that. However, I do have an example of, I'll give examples when we hit the topic, I guess. that part. So I think for me, if I had to do it, let's say I had a job now and I was building a side hustle, I would go back to, I guess, one of our finance episodes. After learning about budgeting and stuff like that, I wouldn't quit a job until first I had a year of savings, at least.
You're quitting a job, and then that sounds like you're quitting a job.
You're quitting a 9 to 5 to go into your side hustle full time. So I would want a year of saving, because they tell you most companies take at least a year before you see a profit because you're building your sales. Although you have built a side hustle, yes, you were working on that side hustle, but how long have you worked on that side hustle and how much money is it bringing you, right? So you still want to have a cushion, because when you're first starting a business, either you have a business loan or you have some kind of cash already. So that would be the same thing, although you've been building it. But clearly, if you haven't left your 9 to 5 yet, that means you weren't ready. You weren't making your full money. So you want to have that cushion. So I want to have that cushion.
A year of salary is a lot of money. Let's be realistic.
It really is.
How much are you saving in your regular 9 to 5 job that you could equal out a year's worth? Like, are you like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
That's
okay.
not realistic.
I see what you mean. So, okay, not like, I guess then, not a year of expenses. I'm thinking more like a year of that side hustle's money. Like, you want to save that. Don't spend it. Does that make more sense? Yeah. So save that, so that you have the point is you have a cushion. It doesn't have to be a year but you want to have a cushion. Like, you don't want to go quit your job and you have $0 in savings. Yeah. Just have a savings.
I guess what you're trying to say is make sure you have enough that, let's say, if 3, 4, 5 months of the business not growing enough, you can
cover all your bills.
Survive.
You can survive.
Yeah. Or unless also you have a partner who can support you during that time.
That is a very good point, actually. Yes.
If that's the case, then you probably could maybe start a bit quicker and not need as much, but you still want to have a decent amount saved regardless, because being an entrepreneur is not easy. You might even start out great. Month 1 was great, 2, 3, and then it's like,
you're only doing your side hustle for 4 months, and then you think you're balling, and then you quit your job, and then month 5 is the day where you go, shoo, because remember, it's like this.
Don't forget, some things are seasonal. Maybe you hit summer and nobody's buying, or December.
Yeah, you started in Christmas, and then you're like, yeah, I could do this, and then January comes and you're like, wah, wah, wah.
So, yeah, it really depends on the industry too. But yeah, I think don't just plan it out well.
Yeah, so not so specific on a time. Then just have a savings, have a cushion for the hard road that's basically gonna come.
So we're clear too. Quitting your job doesn't necessarily. Is this only talking about doing a side hustle, or is it just quitting your job and going to another job too? Because that's another part of that conversation too.
No, it's you're quitting your job, going into your side hustle.
Okay, that's what we're talking about.
So I guess and that's a big thing, because remember on the last podcast too, we talked about the gig economy growth, which is 16 of Americans have earned money through an online gig platform or whatever other gigs. So it's really growing. So people are thinking like, oh, I could just do this and forget. But yeah, they're not considering those 1 good month, 2 good months. 3rd month is shit. Like, you have to keep ahead of that.
And not to, I guess, jump off the topic, since you said it's about the gig stuff, the side hustles. But what about people who are, they're in a job that they hate? They want to have, maybe they're not making enough money, or they hate the job, they hate their boss, but they're scared to quit because, you know what, then, what if I don't find a job in time, stuff like that, People just sometimes hate their job and want to change. What about when leaving that job?
To go into another job?
Yes. Maybe you're in, I don't know, doing nails or something, but you hate doing nails. I want to find something else.
Well, then it's the same thing. You should have a saving or a plan before you leave. To me, yeah, it goes back to the same way. at the end of the day, it's all about, I guess, back to that budgeting podcast. Once you learn to budget, it'll be better. It's easier said than done. Trust me, working on that.
You know, some people who are like, they're stuck in a career for so long, but like, I guess because they're also scared to try something new, you know? So
I think that happens a lot. Just save, have a plan, and then just do the jump. And I think life isn't about, that's why they tell you it's wrong with Americans. We live to work, where Europeans work to live. Like, you're supposed to live life, not like work life. So you're supposed to be happy in your job. Like, you're not supposed to be miserable. I always say you spend 8 hours of your life with people in the company and doing your job, which is why I had to quit my job. I liked my job, but that lady was making me miserable. I'm not spending 8 hours of my day with a lady who was making me miserable. And at the time we were young, we didn't even have a plan. Actually, shit, that did happen to me. We were young, we didn't have a plan, and I don't know if I had a plan. I was really good on savings and stuff back then. So knowing young Cap, like I found all my old savings notes and stuff like that. So I probably had a cushion, but I guess it worked out anyway.
You were staying with me at that time,
Yeah.
though?
So I guess it worked out anyways, right?
That's true. I don't remember how that scenario worked out.
Me neither, but it worked out.
So were we sharing rent, or was he just staying with me?
I have no idea. That's a good question. There's a lot of things I don't remember from back then. Huh. I don't know, but I know that when I started working with you, it was one paycheck. So that changed real quick, but it worked out. So yeah, to me, as I guess, maybe have a little faith. Maybe I should use some of that faith now for things. I could use a little bit of faith, because now when you get a certain age, you're stressed about things, guys. All adults on this show, adulting isn't what they tell you it's going to be. Yeah, what it's cracked up to be. Entrepreneurship Search, a 2022 report from the U.S. Census Bureau noted a record 5.4 million new businesses application, indicating that more individuals are starting their own ventures. And a survey by Bankrate found that only 39% of Americans could cover an expected $1,000 expense, underlining the importance of financial preparedness before leaving steady employment. So I guess that's where we're covering. So I guess people are leaving their job before they can afford it. So I think the main takeaway is have a savings before you quit your job, whether it's for a side hustle or it's for going into a new job that floats your boat better. Have like a cushion. And I think that's really important.
I think the problem too with society now is that people look online and they make things seem so easy. So they feel that, all right, I can do it quickly because, I saw this YouTube video and training and how easy it is to sell on Amazon. I buy my products, I put it on there, and it's like, boom, or crypto or whatever it is. You think you could just do it and it's like, floop, floop, floop. And
the Forex guys and stuff.
Yeah, Forex, you make so much money or whatever.
That's like so little. And then a lot of those people, you find out they're fake gurus. They weren't even making money doing the thing that they said they were doing. They were making money just selling courses without having the experience.
Oh, yeah. Selling the courses
I'm a
stuff like that.
Forex expert, right? But I haven't really actually done the work. I made my millions selling you a course on pretending I was doing it. So that's another thing. Gary Vee says that too. Like, if you're going to follow a guru or you're going to learn from someone, there's nothing wrong with that. But make sure that the person has had a business or done something before. Like, you follow them. So, yeah. Or it's like the business coach who's never had a business. Bruh, what the fuck are you coaching me on? Like, you haven't done the grind yourself. Now, if you want to tell me you're a business coach, your business didn't do so well, I can still deal with that, because maybe you could teach me what I shouldn't do, where you went wrong or something. But if you haven't had a single business and your business is teaching business owners how to do business, I think that is wild. So if I'm getting a business coach, I would like to know, what business you had before, how much it made, or even if it did, where you missed, like where you went wrong. So maybe I have to have something to learn from you.
Yeah, the coaches who want to teach you about business and don't have a business. No, their business is coaching.
Yes.
That's their business.
Oh, the kicker one. The divorced woman who wants to teach people about relationships. How'd that work out with you in your first 4 marriages? Clearly, you need to take a lesson on relationships.
No. What they're doing is they're finding their tribe of women who want to jump on that train, is what it is. They're targeting certain people, is why it's working.
Or you're teaching me how to get divorced and not to make it work in relationships?
I want to say.
Because you clearly are not an expert in relationships.
Yeah, but it's always about finding that group of people who you get triggered into
I get it.
them liking you.
But that's a BS. Those are crazy, wild things. So signs that you're ready to quit. You have a clear, sustainable income stream. So your side hustle is already making money. You have adequate savings and financial cushion, which we discussed. You should have, you see, here, this says you should have at least 6 to 12 months worth of living expenses saved before leaving a steady paycheck. But to each their own. But please have something, at least 3 months of steady income.
I think 3 months is reasonable.
I think 3 months is good. A plan for health insurance and benefits. Yeah, that's true. If you were used to having health insurance and you have health issues and you need to go to the doctor regularly, especially, you need to plan that into your money as a side hustle.
The plan, because a lot of self-employed people tend to not have health insurance, so that will become a big problem very quickly.
Like if you're diabetic or something.
Like if you're not the most healthy person, stuff like that. Like, I think you need to have that figured out, that plan, because, yeah, some people need health insurance more than others.
Yeah, for us it works because unless we have like a major issue, somebody's going to break an arm or something, we don't really need anything. You can pay your gynecologist for your yearly pap smear out of pocket. That's like less than $200. So that's not a big deal. But if you're every month at the doctor, or if you just got pregnant and then your wife is pregnant and she's on your insurance, dude, that's a big, so you have to consider that. So basically just have a plan, right? So have a plan for everything, income and everything. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to give a disclaimer on this part of the show. We're not financial advisors. And this is just opinions and information we have found online. So do not go quit your job because we told you so. And then you got effed and you only had 3 months and you really needed 6 months. And we're like, yeah, 3 to 6 months is no. We're not financial advisors. This is at your own risk. This is just, we're helping you. It's what works for you. And you have to know your numbers, and everybody's numbers are different. So what I need per month is going to be different for you. So you have to know. And then you have to know what you're making now, what you can save from now. Just have a plan. Income consistency predicts success. Data from the GM, shows that individuals who maintained a steady secondary income while building a business were most likely to succeed long term. So that would be the people who have a job and a side hustle and who don't quit their side hustle. So I think that's a different part of the equation. Some people, that's the example I wanted to give. We had a client. He had a really good job in tech and that worked for him. And then he started his side business. And one day I asked him, I'm like, your business is growing. It was growing because he was ordering more marketing materials. So clearly, his business was doing well. More business cards, more employees, more uniforms. So obviously your business is growing. So I'm like, dude, basically what are you doing in your job? He likes his job. His job pays him well. He has great benefits. He has no plan on quitting his job. He built his business on the side where he builds the business, having people run the business. So he's not really an entrepreneur. Now he's a business owner. So he makes his income and has a business on the side. And that works. It's whatever works for you. And that's great. And some people, it might not be, they might just do a side gig at night and their job, but they might like their job during the day. They just want the extra income, your day job covers your your all your basic expenses, your side gig covers shopping, vacations, or savings, so like you might have a side gig and still keep your 9 to 5. So it might be different for everyone. And that's really big in the Caribbean, side hustles while you keep your job.
Yeah, I think just to be clear, like, I don't think you always have to quit your job. Like, sometimes from a business owner to another potential business owner, it's not always green on the other side.
It's not what it's cracked up
The
to
part
be.
they don't tell you about entrepreneurship is there is no fixed salary. There is no guaranteed things are great today, tomorrow. Like, COVID hit or whatever, like, income is gone. But like, if you have a 9 to 5, well, COVID might be a bad example because some certain businesses did shut down. But there's times where it's like, your pay is guaranteed every month versus there's some situation that happened. Maybe, maybe it's the tariff or something and you can't import your products anymore. That thing is going to be gone. But, 9 to 5 is always there. So sometimes just having that extra income on the side can work. I mean, you could plan things out. You can still make a shitload of money working things after business or in between, depending on what it is. Sometimes you don't have that involvement of maybe not having to pick up the phone during the day. Like sometimes things work through email. There's always ways about building a business around a certain way that works for you. Like sometimes maybe you don't want to maybe you're not a morning person, so you can maybe work, between these hours only or late at night only. Like as a business owner, you can structure things however you want to have your business, So that's the one thing about doing your own businesses. Nobody can tell you the structure you have for it. Maybe you want to, your voicemail says email in your orders. Like, don't call me. Like, that's okay. Like, some businesses are like that. Like, it's everything go online. Like, some businesses just don't even have a phone number. You know what I mean? So, if you don't have a phone number, that means you're not tied to even having, office hours or anything. You know what I mean? So, it really depends on the business you have. Maybe you're selling clothes, like, online. Like, I don't need to be in the office all throughout the day unless I have to ship. And you can always package things at night. So there's no real reason to leave your regular job, to say you just have to ship at night, like the process order. Like there's no reason. You could still have your good, big salary coming in every day and do your thing at night because you love it.
If I was working a 9 to 5 today and I loved my job and I was getting paid good money, I wouldn't quit my job. I would do a side hustle at night on the side and just, like I said, my job pays for my expenses and maybe my side hustles is my investment. It's my saving. It's my real estate money. Like you can make more money that way if you're happy in your job. Like, why would I want? But it's also what works for you and what period in your life you're at, because some people might just want to travel. So a 9 to 5 might be annoying. You might want to be a nomad. You want to, build towards that. So I think it has so many components where you have to figure out where you're at in your life, what it is that you want, and then from there, make a plan.
And then not to be discourage anyone too, but let's be realistic. A lot of the times, a lot of small businesses don't work out. So don't think because you're thinking some people are making $100,000, you will ever make $100,000. Like even in our industry in printing, there's people who make, $2, $3, $4, $5 million a month. That does not mean that you're ever going to make that. Like, it doesn't mean that you suck, but like life just has different cards for you sometimes. Like income potential could be there, but it doesn't even mean that you're not making efforts. It's just for whatever reason, life just, want to be slapping you sometimes.
Yeah, it wasn't your time.
So yeah, don't always feel that leaving that extra safety income, is better than, trying. Like it's always good to try, but don't always feel that, like just dropping that thing is always the best idea. Like sometimes just doing both. Especially if you have a good job. If your job sucks already, and it's definitely more, even if you on the low end of your side hustle, maybe that can work out. But if you have a good, decent job, don't feel that
The pressure.
the pressure of you have to quit to make this thing work out. Because sometimes any little bit extra a 25% extra is still a lot of, if for a little bit, 2-3 hours of work, 25% extra income is still great. It's the stability of a 9 to 5 is so much more enjoyable than you'll understand. So I'm trying to
It
say.
really is. Like sleep at night. Like I can't remember the last time I slept at night. Like, like entrepreneurship, like we had that podcast. It has its pros, time freedom, being able to be with your child as they grow. I wouldn't trade that, but the struggle of not knowing what you're making month to month, and that's even for big businesses who are making, like, let's say I'm a business that makes $20 million a month. That's all good. But you still have the same struggle. You had that, just have it at a different point, because now you have employees. So you have people who rely on you and their families that rely on you to put food on their table. So you have to make sure you're steering that ship, and you have to make payroll every month. And if you're making 20 million a month, you have a lot of employees. You have a lot. Your biggest cost is what's going to be your payroll. You have a lot of people depending on you. So don't think that because a person is banking, they're sleeping better at night. No, they have bigger problems, bigger worries, and they just have to hustle harder. So it's not, like Chris said, it's not always greener on the other side. You have to see what works for you. Don't, fall into this like Instagram lifestyle. Oh, I'm an entrepreneur and I'm so cool. No, 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 no. It's not what it's cracked up to be, and it's not for everyone. And you have to make sure it's what works for you and where you're at in your life today. Like I said, if I had a 9 to 5 I loved, I would be keeping that and a side hustle because I feel like I'm in my stacking era. I just want all the money. My hopes are real estate and big investment. So don't quit that 9 to 5 if you love it. Like I said, keep it and make your money on the side. What is better than more money? Some people might say, oh, I don't care about a lot of money and blah, 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 blah. But you don't have to make a lot of money to be vain. Like you can make a lot of money because now your mom comes to you and she's retired and she's like, oh, my roof broke. And now you're broke too. Like there's nothing cute about that. But if you were in your stacking era and you had that 9 to 5 and side hustle on the side, you could be like, oh mom, I got it. How much is the roof? 5K. Oh, let me write you a check. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't think there's anything wrong with having a 9 to 5 and a side hustle. Like, I don't think people should beautify entrepreneurship too much. Yes, it's great. And sometimes it can be beautiful when you're like, but it's a lot of work and it's hard. It's not easy. Just don't like make it more than what it really is. So yeah, emergency savings are a must. A study by the Federal Reserve Board reported that individuals with a robust financial cushion were better equipped to handle career transition and maintain their standard of living. So have that savings. And according to the Kaiser Family Foundation, the average annual premium for individual health coverage was $7,739 in 2021, making a crucial budget for healthcare after leaving a full-time job. So if you need healthcare, figure out how much it's going to be and make sure to apply that into your I'm leaving my job plan budget. Because basically it's your I'm leaving my job plan budget. So make sure to include healthcare in that. So healthcare, living expenses. Obviously, we had that budget conversation. So you should be saving and investing. So you want to put that in the money you need to be making. So you want to make sure you're making all that. So red flags to watch for, which is basically everything in the American living. Relying solely on credit and loans, like, American standard of living. Quitting before you have a stable income and saving in place often leads to high debt and financial stress. That same stress we're talking about. You want to sleep at night, guys. Like, yeah, sleep is nice. Lack of a concrete business plan. We talk about the quitting your job plan, everything to include. And we don't cover that one. No support system in place. You want to make sure you have a good support system, because if you plan on doing this thing and your spouse is against you, honestly, chances are it's not going to work out. Because you're going to have someone who's going to nag, who's going to give bad energy. And I believe energy is everything. It's not going to work. So if you and your spouse are on the same page, sorry, not a good idea.
Something that's mentioned right here, which you didn't really cover. The one thing about, I guess, figuring out when you want to leave your 9 to 5 is when you figured out the scalability of your business.
Or in the plan.
Like if you spending another 5 hours in your job is guaranteed to generate more income, then maybe it works out. But if you just spending more time doesn't equate to more sales, then probably not. Because sometimes you don't always have a system. Maybe you're living on hope. You know, I hope my Instagram post goes viral to get me more sales. That doesn't sound like a great system. You know what I mean? Because maybe you have, maybe you do Instagram ads or something. So if you get, two per, $20 or something, if I spend, $5,000, maybe you'll potentially exponentially get bigger sales. Or maybe if you do phone calls and, maybe one for every 20, you get one order. But if I could spend, the other 5 hours calling people, you get more sales. Then maybe you have something going. You know what I mean? But it's about figuring it out. If I actually spend more time on the business, will it actually equate to sales? Not me hoping that, me spending more time will equate to it. Because a lot of business owners just go based on hope, and hope doesn't pay the bills.
I was going to make a joke, but I'll keep that to myself.
About hope, honey?
Yeah. Debt accumulation. The SBA found that entrepreneurs who started their ventures without financial stability were twice as likely to face severe cash flow issues within the first year. So back to having that cushion, that saving first. The importance of planning. A report from SCORE highlighted that entrepreneurs who developed detailed business plans were 16% more likely to succeed than those who did not. So yes, you want to have a plan on how you're going to leave your job, and you want to have a business plan, which includes, like Chris said, your sales and marketing plan, not just hopes and wishes and hoping that as soon as you quit your 9 to 5 job, you're going to be that entrepreneur with a private jet. I'm still waiting on my private jet, guys.
And let's put into marketing too. Even having a plan of marketing does not mean that
it's going to work tomorrow.
It's going to work for you or tomorrow. Like you might say, oh yeah, like, I'm going to pass out flyers and I'm going to go door to door.
I'm going to be set.
And I'm going to be set. No, not every marketing strategy works for every business.
Trial and failure.
It's always trial and error. There's certain things that might work for your business and it doesn't. And we know from experience that, some people just go based on referrals. Like for whatever reason, they're a magnet for referrals. But some people are just like, you know what? Maybe you could do a great job, but you get 0 referrals. Like I know some people in our industry that they say they go 100% based on referrals, but like let's say for us it's like referrals don't happen that often. They might give you great reviews, do a great job, but then it's like
it's not that the clients are not satisfied, because you'll get email. Oh my God, you guys, great job. We're so happy. Can you put that in an online review? And no, you can't. The email to you is all you can get. So yeah, it's not as easy. I remember when Ty was little and he was like super small, and we went to pass out, was it flyers or stickers door to door? And oh my God, between the 3 of us, we did so many doors at night. We're like, no way. We're going to wake up tomorrow and we're going to have so many new clients. Yeah, no. I think we got 1 client from that thing. And we hit so many doors. It was insane. With I think it was a good deal too, but no. Yeah, I think the stars have to align and your product has to work. I think so much has to happen and you have to try so many things to see what sticks. So yeah, a plan is definitely necessary with a bunch of options and ideas, and definitely sales and marketing in that plan.
Oh, and it also depends too on the companies you depend on to help do your branding and marketing too, because we've seen some companies that just really just suck. Just because they're a marketing company doesn't mean they're always great. Like we've seen designers who design for like 20 years. When you look at their work and it's like, it looks like shit. You know what I mean? People, because they say they can design a logo, does not mean that logo looks that great. Or it doesn't represent the business that you created. Like, I don't know, a pelican and I'm selling shoes. Like, what does a pelican do with shoes? I'm just throwing out an example, but
I mean, that's the story.
you know what I mean? But like, just because they're supposed to be a professional person does not always mean that they know what they're doing, because anybody can start a business. Most people these days will have a degree, they have a passion. I'm passionate about
Why
this
you
topic.
gonna say it like that?
I'm passionate about something.
You need passion, dude. That's what's gonna get you going. That's basically your why at some point.
Why does that mean you're great?
Well,
I'm
no,
sorry.
but and to tell you the truth, the passion person might do better than you because they think, you know what
You're
I've come to realize, guys?
You're right.
Is sometimes you don't need talent. That's what Chris doesn't realize. Sometimes you don't need talent.
Yeah.
If you have that confidence that you are awesome, the universe is going to be aligned with your awesomeness and you will kill it with the wackest website, the wackest branding. And I'm not telling that you don't need branding and stuff, but sometimes some people are so overconfident. Listen, I feel overweight most of the time. But then I look at some girls on Instagram 3 times my size working a bikini, and I think she's slaying that bikini. I wasn't there, but that girl, so much confidence. She's just killing it. So, she's the one winning. I wouldn't work the bathing suit online like she is. And I would be half her size. But that confidence, you can't transfer. And the universe feels that. And you're aligned. And it's going to work out for you.
Take it back. But there's a difference between passion and confidence. Liking something and personality and confidence, 2 different conversations.
So, yeah. Making the transition smooth. Start with a transition period. Consider reducing your hours at your current job. I like that one. That's a good idea. Or moving to a part-time schedule while you build your new venture. Not everybody's going to be able to do that because not every job's going to be like, okay, you could work part-time now. So that might not work for you, but if you're able to do it, that gives you a great startup. Focus on skill development, invest in your education, certifications, and trainings. So I guess you have more ability to move.
And to be with that too, work on that before you jump into it.
And building your portfolio.
Yeah, build up a portfolio, do your education, do your trainings, certificates, whatever it is. Go through all your classes and make sure that it's something you even want to do at that point, and learn the business, put out, feelers. Don't just start the business because you think it's going to be a great idea, but start it on the side and hopefully, it grows out. And
then test your market first before fully committing, validate your business. I guess Chris touched on that.
So,
make sure you have clients, your product is selling. So basically it all goes back to a plan. Part-time work provides stability. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that workers who transition to self-employment gradually by starting a part-time had a higher long-term success rate. So we covered that. Skill up for success. The World Economic Forum identifying continuous learning and upskilling as key factor in career resilience and adaptability. Okay, I'm not even going to try that. Adaptability. And a study in Harvard Business Review showed that entrepreneurs who tested their business ideas before launching full-time were 20% more likely to achieve profitability within their first year. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so I guess test, make sure you have clients, make sure your stuff is selling. Like, don't think because you think your product is so awesome, it's going to sell. That's not always how it works. Because I think I have a lot of awesome products on Etsy, but only the same thing sells over and over. With that, there's so many things. They're not showing the product to be like you're relying, on the platform to show. So don't think that because you're posting it somewhere, it's just going to sell and it's going to work great. So test it out for a while. That's why I had said you should like work on it for a year at least, and then go from there.
Yeah, it's not only a matter of just testing the product too, because you want to see a proof of concept
Yeah.
before you even go ahead. Because as you just said, like, we've posted products, we thought they're so awesome and great, but then you have to remember that you also have competition. You're not the only one
That's true.
out there, especially like unless you go on Etsy. Like, there's so many products. Like, we saw the post about the person with the jewelry business, and the photographer, and the pictures are so amazing and it looks so nice, but it's like
She hasn't
like,
made a sale.
like there's 1,000 other people doing jewelry making, so it's like you got to figure out where is the best place to sell your product or how to sell it. Maybe her products need to be, in a store somewhere. Maybe doing wholesale is better for her, or doing trade shows, or like
Maybe it was like
pop-up events.
keywords. It could have been to me.
There's so many different things that, just don't think because you have a great product, it does not mean that it's equal to sales, because there's competition. There's so much different factors in business that, let's say you want to do accounting tomorrow, like, getting sales, maybe you're not even a people person. That's not the problem with businesses too. Like, sometimes you might have a great idea, but you're not a people person that can really get the message out there or talk to people. There's so much different
That's
things.
true.
There's so much different factors in business that people don't think about until you're actually in it, and it's like, maybe people just don't like you, but that's not your problem. You need to get somebody else to help you with the sales, because you're not a good salesperson.
And if you don't have that savings or you don't have any dough, you can't afford a person at that point. So that's why you have to start with something. So basically, to wrap this up, make sure you have a steady income before you leave your 9 to 5 into your side hustle. Make sure you're making money on your side hustles. Make sure you have a safety net, so a savings, and make sure you have a good plan, and you have a business plan, and you have support from your spouse or your family or your partner, whatever your situation is. If you don't have a good
One
network,
advice to before we go is start young, in my opinion. Start when if you have a good business idea, start while you're at home, while you have support of your parents, at least.
you ain't got no bills.
You ain't got no bills. Get it going from young, especially if you have it. Like, don't wait till a lot long later, because then bills start piling up, life start hitting you.
It's your best time to make your mistake.
You got a girlfriend, you got her pregnant, something like,
But that's also if your parents support you into that. That's the next thing. So that's why you have to have that support.
Well, meaning, like, even if you're living at home, like, at home is the best time to have all your.
Yeah, but sometimes you might be living with naysayers.
I guess, yeah.
So that still matters. Like, they're gonna talk shit in your head. They're gonna be like, all right, what if you're in an Indian family? Oh no, you're gonna be a doctor, so you don't have time for side hustle. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you never know. So you have to have that support at home, no matter who the support is. But starting young is the best time. If you have that support, yes, for sure. And then transitioning smoothly. So if you can keep a part-time, develop your skills while you're in your 9 to 5 before you move on, and test your idea, because you might think it's awesome, but the market might not think so. So, well, proof of concept. Yeah, as Chris said. Anything else you want to say for?
Yeah, the proof of concept thing. Yeah, as you said, like, sometimes you think you have a great idea, $1 million idea of a certain product or something, but then maybe you never showed anybody yet, and they're thinking, maybe you had that one person that's super supportive of, oh yeah, it's a great idea, people are gonna love it.
But were they willing to pay for it?
Yes, are they willing to pay for it? Are they really gonna love it? Like,
sometimes they loved it while it was free.
Yeah,
especially if it's a friend or family member, they love your idea while it was free. When it's time to cash out,
or sometimes you're not showing to the right person who really understands the product. Maybe it's a tech product, and you think, oh, my idea's so great, it makes $1 million, but then somebody with some kind of a background or experience looks at it and they're like, I don't think people are gonna buy it, buddy, because of X, Y, and Z situation, where it's like, or maybe it needs to be tweaked in a certain way that if you ever found that right person to help you with the advice you need to tweak that product, you won't ever get over that hurdle of what's really wrong with your particular product. Because sometimes it's not even the product, it's just maybe your messaging or the way you're doing it needs to be turned around. also.
So I guess that's it for this segment. That was segment 2. Okay, so going into segment 3 of the podcast, weight fads over time. Over time, why quick fixes keep luring us? Yeah, I think that's a big topic. I don't know if it's
Especially
such a big topic for guys, or I guess for guys like you, your biggest problem is what, gaining weight. So I guess it's still a weight issue,
I think
but it's a sensitive topic for everyone because as a woman, we're sensitive about our weight.
Well, let's be realistic. Well, actually, you're right. I don't know personally because I never really been fat to really feel that fat stigma. But, you know, let's be realistic. Well, I don't want to say fat, overweight, however you want to word it. I don't want to offend anybody. But, yeah, like guys, these days, people are a lot more obese for whatever reason, whether it's medically, hormone, the foods we eat, whatever it is. A lot more people are suffering with that issue.
Yeah, we definitely have an obesity problem. That's for sure.
I definitely think women are more affected by weight. I think a lot of
No, not even the kids.
well, yes, but no, meaning like I think women feel it more emotionally is what I'm saying. Than
Oh,
men.
yeah.
Like women would tend to could date a fat guy, but a fat girl, overweight girl might have a bit more issue depending on, you know, some demographics might like bigger women than others, you know, but
Like I think in Africa, they like their women bigger. You need to have some pushing for the pushing, whatever the expression is.
And so your clear definition of fat can mean so much different things. Just having like a little belly could be also be fat too. Like there's skinny people that think they're fat. Like doesn't mean like you're 1,000 pounds. It's just what you feel about yourself. Because you could be. Some people might look at, you know, Cappy had that problem too, where it's like she was super skinny, but her friends maybe were bigger, and they say, oh, they look at her like, you know, you're tripping. But now when you're on the other side of the shoe, is like, all right, I guess you get it when you gain some weight yourself. You know.
Yeah, I said that the other day. I must have been so annoying when I was young. Talking about I was fat. I would have slapped myself now. It's a miracle my friends didn't slap me. Yeah, so like you said though, it's true. Fat might be different to different people. So we're gonna keep it as more of a obesity. So obese would be anything that's over the healthy weight for your height and age based on a medical review. And sometimes medical isn't always right because they keep changing stuff. So to me, it's based on what a healthy weight for your size and weight for you to be a healthy person should be.
Well, to be clear, I don't think all the topics we hear are necessarily about being obese. Or am I wrong?
No, but I'm just saying that since we're talking about fat and stuff, like I just want to say it's more obese than fat. Throughout history, we've had different fabs, there's always this new diet. Like every year, or honestly, like like more throughout the year, there's like new diets. When we were younger, there was like different diets. Today we have what Ozempic, so it has changed throughout the years. But what hasn't changed is the fact that there's always been a diet, like a diet culture issue.
Yeah, I think the thing about the diet is people always looking for the easiest quick fix. Is what it is. Is that the new gimmick that says, "Oh, drink this particular juice and you lose weight fast. Your tummy's gonna go down." But until you try it and realize it might not always be that simple. Like I think weight is one of those things where it's like an easy trigger because you feel like it touches a certain nerve and certain people directly. It's like I'm being attacked. Like you feel it to your core. Where like, all right, maybe this is the magic bullet for me that I gotta try it.
As a woman, you feel it to your core.
Yeah.
And I think depending on how you were raised, you might feel it more. So I guess this is we always lead the segment with personal stories. And since I'm the girl in this, and I think I have more examples, I've gone through a lot of shit with weight. So I never really talk about it because it's never really relevant. I think I've told you those stories. Honestly, I'm not sure. Like, I don't really, it's not things you talk about unless like it becomes relevant, but it's relevant to that. So I've dealt with a lot of weight issue in my life. So I guess when I was younger, I was a ballerina. I thought I was going to be a ballerina. I loved my ballet classes. And clearly, ballerinas can't be, ballerinas look a certain way. Yeah, I was too tall, but you can't be a fatty either. Not that I was fat, I was always skinny, but I think there is this stigma in ballet. Um, any dancers who watch this would understand. In the dance world, especially in ballet, that you have to look a certain way and be a certain weight. So I've gone through the whole anorexia. I've gone through the throwing up, making yourself throw up. I've tried pills when I was younger. I've tried a bunch of shit, but it also comes honestly from the way I was raised. My mom was very harsh when it came to weight. Like she would look at a model on a magazine and be like, "Oh my gosh, she looks so fat." I used to tell her, "Like, what am I, a cow?" Like, she's fat. Like, Jesus Christ, what the heck do I look like? Like, that's a little harsh. So I come from a background where you really get judged on your weight. And then I grew up in Paris. In America, it might be okay. You need to be a fatty patootie. But in Europe, it's not normal. So you try to look a certain way. And then when you add classless levels, like lifestyle class, like you have to look a certain way to fit in certain clothes. You can't be living your 600-pound life trying to fit in couture. Like, it's just not gonna work. So I think I grew up with a lot of issues, like weight issues, stigmas, which is now I feel like I'm living my 600-pound life. Like people wouldn't understand it, but to me, that's why I said weight is something very personal, Like, look, we have Eva who's like trying to gain weight. Her goal weight is like so, and I'm here trying to lose 30 pounds out of that weight. Like, like to me, weight and how you look is very personal. So to me, there's two ways to it though. You have to be comfortable with the person you're in the mirror naked. And second, yeah, some overweight woman might be comfortable with what they see in the mirror, but honestly, if you're 300 pounds and you're like 5'2", I'm so sorry. I don't care how comfortable you are unhealthy. Like, I love your confidence, but my friend, you're unhealthy. If you can't run after your child like more than 2 steps, you are unhealthy. And I'm not judging you because you may, like, not every woman who is 300 pounds are living a bad lifestyle, because I think we've touched on that before. Like, my issue is hormonal. Like the crap that people feed us and everything we put on our skin disrupt our hormones these days. So we all have some type of PCOS and stuff like that. So I understand that. But you can't tell me that you are healthy. You might be okay with it. You might be, but you're not healthy. No, you're not healthy. I don't care how confident you are in that 300-pound life. You're not healthy. So it is personal, but at some point you also have to be realistic. So yeah, it has like different weights to it. So I think it a lot of things plays, I think, into weight and why women go into all this craziness. Um, and I find it interesting that we still have all these fabs today, because the way things are, like, apparently living my 600-pound life has become so tolerated, and they've made it so normal. Like, we have like oversized women like everywhere. I think it's okay to realize that we have issues and that we shouldn't shame women who are trying to do better with their life, who may have a medical issue, but I don't think fat should be put on a freaking pedestal either. Like, we shouldn't shame it, but you shouldn't be like applauded too. Like, I don't want to see a 300-pound Victoria's Secret model. I'm so sorry, because everybody's trying to make everybody's feelings feel better. It's not that I find you that you're uglier, because they have some overweight women who are like, I'm like, she is beautiful and her body, I'm like, and your confidence, but we need to try to stop making like everything okay. It's like the kid, you get an award, you get an, no, your son was last. He does not get an award, bro. My son worked hard to make it first. He gets the award. You don't get a cookie. Like, I bet you do. Like, not, like, we need to stop gratifying all kind of bullshit. Yes, give it grace. Do not shame that woman, but we don't have to push it on people, dude, and make it seem like for our children that you should try to attain a 300-pound life. No, that woman is there because she has, well, either she's unhealthy, because there's still people who just like, so you're just like unhealthy, or she may have an issue, and then that we can honor and she can try to do something about it.
Yeah, I think the key difference right there is what you just said, is sometimes people just have something, not even that they're eating a lot of junk, because they're the ones who are purposely like, I'm being a fatty,
Yeah.
I'm eating bad all day, and there's those just like, bro, I cannot lose the weight no matter what I do.
I just breathe and I gain weight.
And those are the ones where it's like, it's really, it's really a trial and error and figuring out what plan works for you, because sometimes nothing just works, or maybe you haven't found the right doctor or right medication, or maybe it's something you're eating or taking that, or in your environment, that's just screwing you over. It could even be maybe the pads you're using.
Yeah, it's not
for your
just
period.
food.
It's so much things that could be, or maybe it's the stress. Like sometimes your life is just stressed, and you just, you could gain weight based off of just stress by itself too.
Stress is one of the biggest leading hormonal disruptor. And we never realize that. So I love it when a doctor asks you, oh, are you stressed? Dude, I'm a mother. I'm married. I'm self-employed. Stress is like not even my middle name. It's like my first name. Like, you know what I mean?
Education is really what you need at a certain point. To is education one of the options to figuring things out? And sometimes, yeah, like just the information you have, the doctor, the knowledge you have is sometimes it's just limited. Or yeah, it's just maybe your environment. You're thinking like, oh, McDonald's is good for you. Like there's people out there that think like McDonald's fast food is great.
Even the McDonald's salad is bad for you guys. I'm sorry to let you know, because of the stuff they spray on it.
Yeah, like sometimes you just don't know any better, and it's not necessarily always your fault. It's just society that just, it's just the way it is, and you think that it's okay, or maybe you live in a lifestyle where it's like you keep going, and you don't have time because maybe you're a mother and you work 3 jobs, and McDonald's is the only option, so you feed your kids McDonald's and stuff like that because it's easy to pick up on your way home. But it's just sometimes it's the way, or maybe your parents, your mother always cook with, let's say, margarine and canola oil, or what's the other the white thing they used to have back in the days? What's the fake Crisco? Like
those are like super inflammatory, 3 inflammatory things right there.
Maybe in your household you cook with that because your mama taught you to cook with these different oils. Like that's just why you became your organs just got all fucked up and full of fat because it's just the stuff you have. Maybe you think you're eating good food, but it's the oils and different things you're putting in your body that's just fucking over your hormone.
All my Black, Spanish, and Caribbean people, please stop using canola oil for the love of God. Please stop. Do not continue and do not teach your children to use canola oil. Let me put it this way. If you can't put it in your car, probably shouldn't put it in your body.
If you can put it
in
your
you
car.
can. You probably shouldn't put it in your body. But so, yeah, we've always had fads, diet fads, but to me, I've come to realize that it's better to it's a lifestyle change. It should be a lifestyle change, not a diet fad change. So you should try to change things little by little. Like maybe if you drink a lot of soda, instead of looking for a quick fix, and I used to be that person who drank only soda. I wouldn't drink any water. But maybe instead of drinking 5 soda a day, on the first week you try 4 soda a day. The next week, 3 soda a day. Like just do things progressive so that it becomes a lifestyle and you can stick to it, not like a quick fix. Because the thing with fad diets and quick fix is you're gonna want to binge right after. If you keep taking everything away, you'll just want it so much more, and you'll just want to binge. So I love French fries. I love bread. So once in a while, we have bread, especially on my PMS time. It's the best time to like indulge in things. Bread, pizza, like whatever you want, but in small, moderate portions. You don't need to have the whole loaf of bread. You don't need to eat the whole pizza by yourself, unless it's a light, like
Excuse you telling yourself.
the light European style pizza. They're like so light. It's like, but anyways, and it's European flour. It doesn't bloat you the same. You could eat that whole pizza. That's what everybody does at that place. Anyways, sidetrack. Oh, I could use that pizza right now.
We should get going on the topic.
That's why I said sidetrack. So, yeah, make it a lifestyle, not a fab change. So, little facts: U.S. obesity rate rose from 11% in 1990 to 42% in 2020. That is crazy. Almost half people in the U.S. are overweight, even as diet fads multiply. So we have more diet fads, but people are getting fatter. Come on, that's insane. So I guess the breakdown is we kind of go through the different fads. So I think we can go through them like fast. I don't know if you want it, but I don't need to recap on the fads that we had in like 1990s.
They still go through them because there's still stuff that people do right now.
Yeah. But I guess, okay, I see what you mean. So I don't know if anybody recalls those from the 1990s to the 2000s. We had the low fat and Atkins diet. So the low fat era, I guess, yeah, people still do that today. That's when the low fat diet products started soaring. So fat free cookies, diet soda, I guess that's still very popular these days. I didn't touch on that because I want to make it medical point eventually, but all those diets, a medical section, all those diet products are worse for you. So you think it's better to have the regular one because it has not to have the regular one because it have more calories, but in order to give you those less calories and that less sugar, they're adding all kind of other junk that are very bad for your organs.
Or they're having instead of putting, let's say, real sugar, they're adding a scientific, what's the word? Not a scientific. What's the kind of sugar they order? Man-made sugars, whatever it's
sucrose and stuff.
Yeah, unnatural.
Yeah,
sweeteners.
unnatural sweetener.
So anything that's unnatural, it's not, your body doesn't process it as well.
So you may meet your low calorie count, but you're not helping your body function properly.
Or it might show up as 0 in the sugars on the back of the label. Because
yes, but they replace it with other crap.
But realistically, in your body, it's still getting processed as sugar. That's all the loophole that these people do to tease you that, oh, there's no sugar, zero calories, but it's really just replacing it with something else bad inside your body that's processed.
So the downside of what happened with that, people ate more sugar and refined carbs. Intake jumped 15% by the 2000. It turns out that cutting fats led people to consume more refined carbs and sugars. I could have told you that. And it had contributed to obesity and diabetes rate going up through the decade. So now we have a diabetes problem, like in the US. I don't know other countries, but I know in the US we do. Because people were hungrier, they gained more weight and their insulin issues increased. So a lot of people with PCOS and hormone disruption have insulin issues, insulin resistance. And I think that is truly built on a lot of shit that we get in our food and the way we eat.
Yeah, I'm not really an expert. We're still researching this topic, but yeah, the whole insulin resistance stuff is something that we're still currently researching, where it's like, at a certain point, like insulin is something you want to track and what spikes it, what doesn't spike it. And at a certain point, I think, what was it that with the insulin resistance where certain things are not triggering correctly or something? You don't remember? Yeah, it's something we have to research.
I'm not really sure what you're talking about.
I remember the video we watched from the Diary of a CEO and about the insulin resistance topic.
I remember the video, but I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, never mind. I don't remember it.
I guess I'm not on the network right now. The Atkins diet, I know, was never really familiar with that one. It's apparently high protein, high fat, near zero carbs. You should always have a little bit of carbs, but like healthy carbs, so no white carbs and like no white bread. You can have like a white brown bread, like fiber rich carbs, like a sweet potato is a carb, but it's still good for you. Like it still support your guts and stuff like that. So the problem with that one, it was showing that 90% of people gain weight within a year because, like I said, if you don't make it a lifestyle, you just taking stuff away, then eventually you're going to want to binge on it. And when you binge on it, it's just going to make you worse because your body isn't used to it anymore. And 70% saw an LED cholesterol spike. But the Atkins diet books did sell over 15 million copies by 2000. So a lot of people were doing that one. I remember that was a big thing. I think all of this, are still things today. But I guess that's when they were really taking off. Then when we had the vegan and juice cleanse fat, I wasn't vegan, but I was vegetarian for 3 years. But it wasn't for fat. It was because I was trying to fix my PCOS. So I tried cutting out meat for my PCOS issue. I honestly think that it worked a little better because I think I was doing better, but it could be so many things, right? So, but the only thing with vegan and vegetarian, so you see, around that time, the market grew 300% at plant-based became a buzzword. But the problem with that is, and they have it here as the downside in the studies, is that people would eat all those fake plant-based instead of, and I was doing okay because to me it was important. I just didn't want to eat a bunch of processed vegan or vegetarian food, like, out of a box. Like, if I was doing that, it was going to be, I'm going to get my protein from beans, like, or I would research what vegetables and fruits have more protein because, you need high protein to feel fuller than your fibers. So if you eat it out of healthy foods like beans and then veggies, fruits, a little bit of carb, then you can have a healthy diet and do it in a healthy way. The problem is today, vegans and vegetarians are eating trash just like regular people are. It's a fake burger, like full of like soy. Soy isn't good for you. It's not good for your hormones. It's not good for women. It's not good for men. So like if you're eating trash vegan or vegetarian, you're not doing yourself a favor, and then you are getting deficient on so many minerals and vitamins.
Yeah, I saw a post from a friend. She was like, "Oh, who knew vegan women could be thick?" or something like that, she said. But yeah, it's most likely because we've actually had another friend who actually was gaining weight too. When she became vegan, it's because you're not eating the proper nutrients.
Yeah, you're only eating white rice
And carbs and pastas, and not eating, getting your proteins. And it's not a balanced diet. You're picking out on the things that
on white carbs
that
or
you're
processed.
not really processing. You're not really balancing it out properly. That you're eating what your body needs to sustain, because you're taking out the meats. The meats was giving you protein, but now you're not getting that. So now your body is just processing all the nutrients differently with the carbs and stuff like that. It's compensating and storing all the fat in your body versus processing it as muscle.
Yeah, so if you're doing veganism or vegan or vegetarian, I don't think there's a problem as long as you know how to eat properly. And a lot of people don't. They eat like all the frozen junk and stuff like that. A 2018 nutrition survey found that 45% of vegans consume excessive sodium and refined oils because they're buying all the ready food instead of learning how to make healthy meals from healthy food. Yeah, if you do it well balanced, it can be healthy, ethical, and low inflammation. I think that's what it was for me. It was very low inflammation eating that way. But the risk, you become B12, iron, zinc, and protein deficient without proper planning, which is what we're saying. And that's from experience. So as long as you're doing it right, you'll get all your nutrition. So I don't have a problem with vegetarians or vegans. I don't think it's fad. I think if you're doing it for a purpose, Sometimes it's for saving the animals, or it might be for a medical reason. It's great, but just do it properly.
Thing too with I guess with what they were saying here with the protein deficiencies and the B12, it's also about figuring out now what proportions matter for you, because now maybe before you ate like this much beans before as a regular when you were eating meat, but now you don't have meat, and so your beans are now your protein, so you have to eat 3 times the amount of beans to really get back the amount of protein that you were eating before. So that all creates a whole problem in your body that you're not processing it, getting all nutrients you need to really survive and build proper immune system and support what your body needs daily.
Yeah, so before you switch to that lifestyle, I think you have to learn and do it properly.
Yeah, like the plate design has to be different on the amount of, more of this one, more of that one, less of this one, because now each particular thing has to become a science to really figure out, what you need properly to balance it out. Especially in the transition, I think probably like the beginning of the transition period, especially too, it's really important that you transition properly so your body doesn't go and freak out.
Yeah. Juicing and detoxing. That's, I think, still a very big fad too, because there's so many juicing places. I think it's okay for a reset, but it shouldn't be like an ongoing, and it's not a miracle worker, people. I think it's just good to reset your body from time to time to do like a fast or juice, but not like, well, I'm gonna juice the whole week and hope to lose 10 pounds. Like, I don't think that's what it should be for, but that's what people are using it for. So there's a foundation that warned of electrolyte imbalance, muscle loss, and no evidence of toxin removal. Some users experience dangerous hypoglycemia and GI distress, so your gut, on those. So yeah, I think you have to really be careful. Master cleans juice only diets, colon flushes. It says that you start by losing water weight loss, but then you're going to lose muscle loss. And it can wreck your metabolism, cause mood swings, and lead to binging after, which is very true, especially if you're not used to doing it. So if it's more lifestyle, and I think have like I think mindset is big too. So if you have this mindset of I'm going into this to cleanse my body, it's more spiritual. I think you might do better than if you're going at it for, oh my God, I need to lose 20 pounds as a miracle in 7 days to fit in this dress next week. I think that makes a big difference.
That's a very interesting part right here where they said it's mostly water weight and muscle loss. So that's the part that's crazy, because you might be thinking, oh my gosh, I'm doing this again because it worked out so well. But because you don't know the science of what's actually happening to your body, you're just seeing the number, oh, I lost
On
10
the scale.
pounds. But you're not realizing that it's not really the real fat that you're losing. You're just losing superficial weight or muscle. Muscle is important. Muscle is the most important part of your body you want to maintain. Because when you don't lose muscle, when you have muscle, your body functions properly. You can move up and down. When you lose muscle, you can't do things well. But it's probably why people, after they do the juicing, their body doesn't really recover or move as well, because you lost muscle in that.
And as you get
fat.
older, you need to have that muscle. They tell you that's why you should lift weight, because as you get like in your 70s and stuff, if you were lifting weights younger, then your muscle, like you won't have like your joint pain and stuff like that. And you're able to sit down without hurting.
Forget about the bed.
Yeah, without hurting. So your body, I guess that was a joke, reality check. Your body has a liver. That's your detox system. So I guess technically if you're taking care of your liver, we're saying that as we're drinking liquor, by the way. Ironic. But we don't drink every day or every week, so it's okay. Yeah, your liver is basically supposed to take care of your detox. But I think a detox once in a while is good. For your body, for a reset, for your mind, I think it's good. 2010 to 2020, we had the paleo, keto, and intermittent fasting were the new fabs that were introduced at that time, which we still have now again. So by 2018, keto market hit $9 million. A study Oh shit, $9 billion, my bad. Study reported that LDL. By the way, when we're recording this, it's like almost 4 a.m., guys. I am tired. LDL, which is bad cholesterol, in 60% of keto adherent, nutrient deficiency in fiber and vitamin K and C. Basically, you're losing a lot of vitamins and minerals when you're doing ketos, like a lot of necessary stuff. Intermittent fasting, 30% of millennials tried time restricting eating by 2020. I have tried intermittent fasting too. I think it's worked for me. I used to talk so much shit about it, and then I tried it and it's worked for me. But like I said, it doesn't necessarily work for everyone. And I didn't go into it as a quick fix weight loss. It was a long-term thing I did last year, and I did lose 14 pounds doing it, but it was more to regulate my inflammation for my PCOS and to give my body a break to recuperate. And I did a lot of like watch stuff about it and learn how many hours you needed to hit to get to ketosis and stuff like that. So like the vegan and the vegetarian, as long as you go into it with a plan and educated, then you should be okay. Just don't do it like, just don't watch one TikTok video and think that's the best way of doing it, basically. There's a study that says that extreme fasting to binge episodes hormonal disruption in women and metabolic slowdown. So if you do it badly, you're gonna binge. It's gonna give you hormonal disruption and you're gonna have a metabolic slowdown, which is the opposite of what I was doing it. I was doing it to fix my inflammation and my hormonal thing, but the way I broke my fast was with a heavy, clean protein meal with healthy fat and some veggies. So I wasn't breaking fast with pizza. You know, like it makes a difference. So I would have like 2 eggs, a piece of steak, some avocado, and some tomatoes or bell pepper because they're good for inflammation. So I had a plan that made sense. I broke my fast with a heavy protein meal, like very balanced. You know, it has your protein, your fiber, everything, so that I could follow through with that inflammation going away and that hormone balance. Yeah. So as long as you have a plan and you're doing it correctly, then you're fine. Oh, again, disclaimer that I forgot to do at the beginning. We're not doctors or nutritional professional. This is just background information from research and experience, guys. So do not tell us you tried something and then went and messed up your health. We're not telling you what to do. We're just giving you background of things we've experienced, tried, and facts that we've researched. That's the end of this disclaimer. Then we are going into, I guess, more like today, supplement traps and mass gainers. We've always had supplement issues, but now we have like protein shakes and stuff are more popular, powders and all kind of like side things. What is that? Like fat burner powders and all this kind of stuff. So that industry grew $3 billion from $3 billion in 2009 to $15 billion in 2020. We're in the wrong business.
It's the protein powders and mass gainers, to be clear.
Yeah. So the downside of those is that 25% of supplement contained undeclared stimulants or heavy metals. Basically, I think they're not very well regulated is the problem. All of the stuff are well regulated. And so, yeah, there's a review that says that in the beginning they were unregulated, sometimes contaminated, and often caused digestive distress and unbalanced gains, fat versus muscle. But now they are more regulated, but I don't think those kind of products are as regulated as they should be. But then again, I don't really trust the FDA anyway, so it really doesn't matter.
I think a lot of the supplements are not regulated, period.
So you have to do your own research, educate yourself, and read labels. But you should be doing that with food too, anyways. The downside It's because I skipped this. The clean bulking myth, I'm air quoting for people who can't see. Unlimited rice, chicken, avocado to pack on clean mass, air quote. Everything should be in balance, basically. Even if you're overeating clean, healthy food, it's overeating. So if you're not balancing your macros. Okay, so basically, the traps that you can have with supplements, it can be an appetite suppressant. Your ACG will drop and it will help with, it can be a fat burners, but they're often loaded with stimulants, diuretics, and false promises. So you think it might work, but it's not going to necessarily work for you. Like for me, because of my hormones issues and stuff, like things that might work for a girl might not work for me. And then it can harm your sleep, spike your heart rate, and it's not going to teach you healthy habits. So people keep, going for fast, easy pills, or like those even those Chinese teas or all those kind of stuff. But if you're not doing anything else with it, it's not gonna work a miracle. Like I wanted to try fat burners, but I never did because I wasn't eating like 100%, legit for it. Like I know, like it has to go hand in hand together. It's not miracle workers.
Yeah, I believe there's always like a certain way you have to do it, a certain timing of the day and certain process. Not you just don't take it and then it's just gonna start to burn, right? I think there's more of a process to it.
I have no idea because I'm not familiar with it, but I know Ty started one, but he's able to do it because he's like eating super clean, so you'll see it. And then this chick I follow, she has like millions of followers for workouts, but if I'm eating Burger King and then I'm taking this as a miracle, it's not going to work. It's supposed to be an add-on to already a better lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So people take it and think they can just go eat bonbons all day and no. Okay, so today's hacks, we have gone over the years. We're finally into today, the big Ozempic.
Well, I guess the big problem one.
Yeah, the main problem, big Ozempic. Or
the current trending, the latest one, because obviously people still take all these other stuff anyways, but
yeah. Obviously, what I guess that's what we kept saying. Like, I never realized those other ones started like in 1980, but like they're still relevant. Like people still doing keto today and stuff like keto today.
Yes, keto. People
say keto. No, I guess people mostly say keto, but yeah, people are still doing it today, but it was started back then. But now the new one is Ozempic. So Ozempic is supposed to have, apparently it's also, they have Wegovy and Zepbound. I've never heard of these other ones. I know they have different brands. I just never really heard the names.
Wegovy is the one our friend takes.
Oh, so 10 to 15% average weight loss in trials, I guess, when they tested it. And the market forecast for these medications is $20 billion by 2025. So it was first started, right, as a medication for diabetes, which is still used as a medication for diabetes. But I guess when people realized that they could lose weight on top of it, they started using it as a miracle worker for diets instead of mostly diabetes. And I guess that's causing an issue because now I think there's people who have diabetes can't get their hands on the medication, and it's become like overpriced and stuff because people are using it for the wrong reason.
That's always funny. So a side effect of a certain drug, you decide to take it, right? But let's be realistic, when you're taking a drug that was created for this was supposedly a negative side effect, I guess, of taking that particular drug. But somehow, all of a sudden now, that same drug compound is somehow now considered a great thing. Like it was, meaning, think about it. It's the drug was meant to help with diabetes. What does that do to a regular person? You know what I'm saying?
I understand what you mean. And then I guess what you were always also trying to say is,
like, your body it's always a balancing act, pro and con. So it's like, what does that affect somebody who was necessarily healthy? How does that affect somebody who now doesn't have diabetes? You know what I mean?
Well, I think, I know we already have some issues that have been found now, but I think as the years pass, just like anything else, like the thing that happened back in 2020, you don't find out all the stuff until now. So you're not going to find out what was the downside of Ozempic a lot more, and they won't put it out officially until like 3 to 4 years from now.
Well, we already know, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, but I think they're going to have more findings.
I'm just saying, as a regular person, like, okay, let's say taking cold medication, like, if you take it, you'll go ahead and you don't want to eat anything or something too. Like, let's start taking cold medication. Like, that's not going to be good for your body either. You know what I'm saying? Like, just think about it logically. Like, it was created for a certain purpose. Now, taking for something else, like, your body just can't be throwing all kind of random shit to your body.
I understand that, but people have become so obsessed.
Yeah, the easy life.
It's the problem. Like, obsessed with fast, the Amazon effect in anything. And losing weight is not supposed to be a miracle, like, overnight. And I don't even think it's healthy for your body. And it's like, I watched a documentary too about, or I read something about the surgery when you shrink your stomach. Apparently, it has a lot of negative side effect, lots of danger, because your body is supposed to, like we're a perfect system created. And although you're cutting it and you're going to lose that weight and you're not, I guess, eating as much and stuff like that, it messes up other things because you took a big part of something that was a big function in your body. I don't remember what was.
I actually thought we were going to cover that. I forgot to actually even check.
No, I just thought about it talking about that.
I thought we were going to cover that like in my head before, because you know why too.
Yeah, so that's, I don't know if it's something I read or a documentary, but apparently, and I never thought about it that way, because you think it's good, but because your body is built a certain way and it's like an engine and it's a perfect system, when you take out a major part, like when you take out anything, the system isn't going to work. So it's going to deteriorate in other ways that you might not see today, but you're going to feel it eventually.
Yeah, but I guess with everybody, it's always a pros and a cons, because a lot of people struggle with different things, and you kind of have to pick your battles sometimes, like, especially when you're like, I guess, at a certain weight where just like, whatever you're trying doesn't work, so it's like, at some point you got to figure out if you can take those negatives to get some pluses.
To me, it's everything. It's personal. You just make your research and then you deal with, it's your life. You deal with whatever you want. So now, yeah, something they did for Ozempic was for diabetes. They repurposed it for weight loss. So anything for money is just greed at this point, right? Because we're going to sell it for whatever people want as long as we get paid. So that's why American pharmaceutical companies are like, they're just greedy. And we're just like, we spent so much money on pills for no reason, like more than so many countries combined together. That's insane. So now, those insurances, rather than looking at Ozempic as a necessity for the people who have diabetes, it's become a luxury. So a lot of insurances are not covering it because people are taking it for weight loss.
So trying to find a loophole to get it in.
Yeah, so they don't have to cover. They can make more money, and then, like I said, people are not finding supplies because people are taking it for just losing weight. So the downside so far, I guess, that they have found on the side effects are nausea, gallstones. That's how you say it, right? Potential nutrition, malabsorption, which regular people already have. So now it's going to get worse because we're not absorbing minerals and vitamins as good as we used to because everything is just depleted already. Black market compounding led FDA to ban do-it-yourself version by May 2025. So people were just putting like a bunch of shit on the market.
Okay.
Yeah. Using that a certain compound that wasn't good for you. So I guess they're trying to fix that up.
But DIY sounds like you do it at home. Like, I guess you take X, Y, and Z.
Oh, yeah. I think there was from what I read, there's a component. I don't know what it is that you can use that helps with the thing. I guess I didn't go further. I just read the basics on it. But yeah. And then, as I told you, long-term safety data remain incomplete. We won't find out all the issues until 3 to 4 years from now. So it does slow the digestion. It kills your appetite and it gives you massive results because of that, because you're not hungry. But when you're eating and you're eating crap, are you really helping yourself? Because if you're not hungry, but when you eat, you're just eating chips and carbs and drinking soda, is that really it's like the pills and all the other frou-frou. If you don't have, you're not teaching people lifestyle. You're just giving people quick fixes.
Yeah, the biggest killer of weight, or I guess not killer, but the biggest obstruction, or however you want to word it, is all the little snacking of the junk foods. It's really just adding to other problems. Like you think you're doing certain little things to your body that's going to have a compound effect. People keep saying, oh, it's not going to kill me today, whatever. But you never really realize that it creates these little things over time. Everything, oh, I'm healthy today. I didn't die yet because, I didn't wash the fruit or whatever. But these things never really affect you right away. It takes stuff over time. So
they affect you at the end of your life when you have cancer or Alzheimer or dementia.
Or one day you have some weird pain in your leg or something, and you don't know where the fuck it came from. Oh, I got it. My mama had it too. No, you probably could have prevented it, but because you keep eating all the little snack things and whatever. Like your mama.
Because you learned from your mama.
That's why you ended up with all these issues.
Basically.
Because let's be realistic, a lot of the food, which is hopefully it seemed to be coming with RFK, they're supposedly banning all the stuff now. Yeah, he's supposedly getting approved to, I think, who was it? PepsiCo? All the Pepsi with Lay's and all those companies going to be removing certain compounds from their products.
That shouldn't even have been there to begin with.
Well, yeah, but yeah, I think they're going to be remaking all the stuff from I guess the export, all the country. People think that, oh, different ingredients have to build it, it's more expensive. No, they already have all the compounds already.
They know how to make it, basically.
They said, I guess, what is it, Fruit Loops and stuff, the red? They use watermelon instead of whatever Di-40 business. So they're already making it here and exporting it out to all these countries. But apparently,
it's like the Fanta, why it tastes like an actual fruit in Europe, and here it just tastes like chemicals. That's insane.
Yeah, so I don't know if they want to say it's we pay for their luxuries nonsense. Maybe that might be their argument. It's a little more subsidized, provided to the other people. Because they make the bulk of their money on us.
Yeah, well, enough America paying for everybody else's crap. We're done with that.
Because everything is going to go up, and then they're probably going to blame Trump now because everything going up because all the ingredient changes. That's going to come too.
Well, I've said it before. If I have to pay a little bit more to be more healthy and for my children to be healthy, I'm okay with that. I'll pay $1 extra on the goddamn chips. They're already charging you so much for junk. I might as well just pay it to have something better. Yeah. So you're losing weight with those Ozempic, right? But 40% of your lost weight is muscle and bone, up to 40%. So you think you're doing great, but you're not really losing weight. You're losing bone structure and muscle. That means in Haitian people will tell you when you're old, you're going to be coco bay. You're going to have osteoporosis. Yeah, you're going to have hunchbacks, you won't be able to walk, to sit properly as you age because your muscles are going to be ridiculously depleted and your bones. So basically you're not helping. You think you're doing great because you look great in a bikini today, but you're just killing yourself slowly.
Just to put it in perspective, basically what you're trying to say is maybe you can survive today because you're a bit young, but as you get older, we all know that your body starts to deteriorate and break down on its own. So, people having a broken hip or they fall, basically you're going to be pretty much guaranteed to have those issues because your body is already so broken down. Naturally we deteriorate, but you're aging your body faster internally in your bones. And basically yeah, you're just gonna not be able to get up out of the bed. You're gonna have problems with your body, and waking up and getting out of bed is gonna be a struggle at some point in life, because your bones and your muscles is one of the main things that keep you functioning in your elderly age. Like, we even watch stuff now that says, basically, as a younger person, prepare your body. Do squats, do all kind of workouts, prepare your body for that aging, because at a certain point, like, it just becomes harder as an older person to do things. You might think that older age is such a long time away, but
It's right around the corner.
It's right around the corner. You gotta prepare yourself. Like the people who survive best in their older age is those who keep active
in their younger age.
In their younger age. Like my dad. Like, he's in his 80s, but he's always been active throughout his whole time. Like, people look at him and say he's so young because this guy never stops. He was working. Even up to now, he's always out in the garden, up in the bushes somewhere, climbing ladders, keeping busy, sweating in the sun. Like, he never really stopped being active. And I think the minute people stop being active and just being couch potatoes, when your body just starts to say, you know what? It's slow down mode. Let's keep breaking it down. But
and not only your body, your mind.
Yeah. I think it's the more you get lazy, especially when I'm so scared about retirement. Like, retirement to me is like, I guess it's not for everybody. Retirement can be bad, but people retire just like, you're just staying at home, just watching TV, couch potato lifestyle.
Not talking to anyone a lot of time if you lost your spouse already.
Yeah.
Your kids are not around.
Your mind, your body, everything goes to shit.
I was going to say something now for that. But yeah, remember I saw this girl, she's in her 20s. She took too much of the medication. She took it in high dosage. And I guess she was already slim. So now she's like even super skinnier. She's having issues walking because her bones are like deteriorating like crazy. And she's in her 20s. That's insane.
And yeah, basically said, I think, what was it? You can't really longer recover or something like that. Your bone structure wouldn't recover.
It's going to be harder to recover. So she's basically effed up.
And that's her only taking it for like a year. I think it was over about a year.
And then she stopped, and then it just was a shit show. And then that's another thing. They tell you that, people often regain weight and more when they stop. So that means they made a medication. Well, it was supposed to be a medication. People are taking it for weight loss. But once you stop for the weight loss, you're just going to get fatter, and then you probably have all these issues. That means they have you as a guinea pig for life. They're going to be banking, because now if you stop, you're screwed. You don't want to stop. And they're just going to be banking off of you for life.
Yeah. You're not even banking, because you know what? Now, because you have the osteoporosis and bone issues, now they have the new drug.
Oh, no, they're going to have to come up with a new drug for that.
Yeah, because
then here you're on the cycle.
Because remember, all these drugs have side effects. So clearly one side effect is the bone loss. So now here you need to get, the next or whoever drug to go ahead and help, fix your thing, because it can't be natural. You can't do anything.
They're probably working on that already.
Because you can't take natural products to help with your bones. You got to get another drug.
They're probably working on that already.
Which is going to have another side effect again, but
yeah,
the cycle is okay.
Yeah, I guess now they also have a lot of black market version of it. That's what I was trying to say. I think it might be different though if you're taking it for your bones, but you're still actively working out. At least you're keeping your muscle and your bone going. But to me, a lot of people who are taking it as a miracle worker are not people who are exercising. You know what I mean? Like, that percentage of that person taking it to lose weight and using the gym is way smaller than the person who takes it and just wants to still eat bonbons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think when any type of exercise is changing your lifestyle that go along with it, especially in this situation, it sounds like, because obviously there's people who take it and I guess they do have somewhat of a healthy life, I guess. Maybe it depends on how the drug has been formulated or changed. Like the people who have actual diabetes, I mean, I don't know much stats on it, but I'm assuming maybe some of them are okay. I don't really know. What's the stats
I think
of
they
that?
give it to you in smaller numbers. Tanya, she takes it in a smaller quantity, which is why she doesn't lose crazy weight, because she's taking it for diabetes. So it didn't, like, her doctor didn't want to give her no more. She wanted more to lose weight, but he was like, no, that's all you need for your diabetes. So that's all you're getting prescribed. So in that way, I think it's fine. But it's when you're like just going Cocoa Puffs with it. So apparently, I didn't know there were. That's where there's a freaking TikTok trend for everything. There's a TikTok diet hack, oat Zempic smoothie. So it's oats, water, lime juice, to make it as a appetite suppressant. So the problem is it lacks in protein, essential fat. Pediatricians warn of the nutrition deficiency and disorder eating in teens. So I'm assuming they're only taking that instead of a meal, and they're calling it the Ozempic smoothie. So I guess it's because it's to lose weight easily. Like people come up with and I swear on TikTok especially, they come up with the dumbest fads.
That's where things
and
go to go.
stuff.
That's where all the trends start. I mean, TikTok is just full of just
Yeah, but
nonsense.
it's always something stupid. Like that's killing children or that's unhealthy. It's never something good.
Yeah, because that's TikTok in America. We all know how it is in China. China don't do all this nonsense.
Crazy.
They want us to be the idiots over here, but you know.
Apparently, there's another challenge, the OMAD, 1 meal a day challenge, promote rapid loss. Like seriously, guys, like eat if you're healthy, eat every 2 to 3 hours, small meals, non-processed food, regular meals. And especially at a young age, if you're healthy and then you work out, you drink your water, you will lose the weight easily. Like, it's not that hard. Like, it works for my child. Like, it's only when you start getting in your 40s and you start having hormonal issues and stuff. It's a different story. But when you're young and you're good, it's really not that difficult. Eat healthy, eat every 2 to 3 hours, not junk, drink your water, exercise, boom.
Yeah.
You will get all your vitamins, all your nutrients. You will be healthy. You would put on muscle. You're going to look toned. You will look hot. Like, it's not this difficult.
Yeah, I say the first key is to go ahead and try and get like some blood work and some testing done, to figure out where your issues are. Because sometimes you might have an actual medical something going on, like in your case with the PCOS.
A nutrition deficiency, maybe.
Or that too. Or you might have PCOS, where it becomes harder for you to regulate and get things going. But as a normal person, most likely let's look at first your diet to see what could be taken out, because I guarantee you a lot of times, especially when you're younger, as you said, if you're young and you're obese, most likely it's probably something you've been eating.
It's those Oreos.
Yeah, the Oreos, the Chips Ahoy, all the sodas, the sugary thing, the snacks,
the
cake.
Juice you think is healthy for you with natural air quote sugar, it's not natural. It's all crap. It's not what it is.
Yeah, all the juices that says it's natural. Like even what was it? We were in Costco, and the guy was literally watching the label to see what kind of sugars and stuff was in there, because they know that the type of sugar, how much sugar, is a real big issue. If it's the diet sugar, where it's like supposedly not sugar or it's not going to spike your thing, but sugar is still sugar. So you want to minimize it as much as possible. And then get away from all the processed meats and stuff, like ham and cheese sandwich. Like the ham can be processed too. Like
any processed meat is bad for you.
If you're buying the deli, the sliced deli, chicken or whatever, like that chicken isn't eaten. It's processed. It's been sitting out in a package. You know what I mean? For like how long? And those things, like you gotta try and cut back on it, and you will see some results from just doing that by itself. It's all the sugary things that we think it's okay and safe, and don't be fooled by the fat-free and diet-free. Like even fat-free is not even something you should be having either. You need healthy fats. Like fat-free isn't a good thing. Any type of all those gimmicky products and stuff, there's always some kind of a trick behind it. It's all different chemicals that they take out. It's going to screw you over in some different way, because it's, anything man-made and processed is most likely to have some of a side effect on your body. And Starbucks, like, just if you're drinking Starbucks, that's why you're fat. Like, I'm sorry, like that's one thing right there. It's how many packs of sugar is in one Starbucks? We've seen it, and Dunkin' Donuts is like half the can was like sugar.
But then you add the syrups.
Yeah,
that's the sugar on top of that too. So it depends on how you drink your Starbucks, because there's some people who will drink it with just like clean coffee, and then they just will add milk. So it depends on how you drink it.
I think you know which ones are the bad ones. The one that tastes really good, it's the bad ones.
You can make a good one, better version taste good to you, huh? I guess that's once you've learned to eat. Your palate might
But
change.
meaning like, if you're trying to lose weight, look at what you're eating now is really what it is. So ask somebody who is slim or into health and fitness. This is what I eat. What do you think? And be honest with yourself or people. Like even ChatGPT, ask it. Hey, I'm this amount of weight. You know, I'm 200 pounds. I'm 5'2". You know, this is what I eat in a day.
That's
what do you
actually
think?
cool. I
And
never
what
thought
it
about
says.
that.
I guarantee you, ChatGPT will give you a good diet. Will tell you what is wrong. You know, like ChatGPT is amazing. Honestly, like it's.
Here we go. Chris is talking about his
It's-
BFF now.
Hey, whatever you want to say, it is amazing. It's a downfall to certain things in society. Yes, it is, but it's a great help to for self-help. Like I guarantee if somebody messaged you right now and told me, "Hey, this is my thing," I'm not expert, but you know what? ChatGPT will do the research for me and tell me exactly, "Hey, this is my goal. You should be doing X, Y, and Z." You know, instead of taking, banana in your shake at this hour, at milk, change it to water like we did with us. We learned that stop taking our fruits at night and the milk because it's going to help. It spikes our insulin at nighttime. So we no longer take, our smoothies with milk and bananas and fruits because that's going to help, not help, but you're trying to get abs, it ain't going to work out at nighttime drinking all that sugars and stuff in your stomach. So now we drink our shakes at nighttime and water instead.
Full disclaimer, I'm not trying to get abs.
Well, you know what we mean. Like lose the belly fat, however you want to say it.
Yeah, baby step.
Yeah, belly fat loss, So
I would be happy with just that.
yeah, but belly fat and abs goes hand in hand.
Does
So,
it though?
You know what I mean? Like to
Tarek
get
had
it,
no belly fat, but he didn't have abs until now. Like it took so much extra cutting for those abs. And the dude is in perfect health. I will be just happy with a flat stomach. Thank
Me
you.
too.
So I guess to wrap that one up, fab or basically just stay away from them. If it's easy, it's really not worth it. It's probably not gonna be good for you. Just stick to what works. We all know what works. Like change your lifestyle, eat healthy, exercise, sleep, get your daily sun, check maybe what vitamins your body, do, like you said, blood work, vitamins your body might be liking, and you would be just good with that. And yeah, balance. Like if you want those fries, just have those fries on the Saturday. Or maybe if you're too scared, just do it at home. Like you can have a healthy version, but don't deprive yourself because then it's when you start binging. Like for me, that was a big thing. Like if I want something, I'll have a little bit and then I won't feel like I'm depriving myself. So I won't have to go crazy for it.
Just another tip too. Another tip too is instead of trying all kind of random things and stuff like that, you can also find a nutritionist or a fitness person. A lot of fitness coaches now, they have pretty affordable packages that you can go ahead and find where if you tell them what your goals are and what you're doing, they'll put together a plan on the stuff to eat or what not to eat and stuff like that that'll help you out. Dieting is, all these fads and stuff. It doesn't always have to be super bad either, but you want to cut out a lot of the different things in your life and try to stick to more home cooked meals versus eating out because you can't really control what's in your food.
The oils
especially, that's a very big problem.
Inflammatory oils.
I guarantee you, if you try changing that up to it, it'll definitely see some benefits in that by itself. Moving in the seed oils and using more neutral stuff. What was it?
Avocado oil, olive
oil, even coconut oil, I believe.
Yeah, coconut oil
as well. So stuff like that alone will help. And don't fried food is bad. Don't do fried food, especially the vegetable oil.
Air fryer is amazing.
Air frying, yes, we do only air fry now. That's great. I mean, I don't even see the difference, honestly.
Well, I think you could see a difference.
Well, meaning a difference is in
but it still tastes good.
Meaning if you need to reheat certain things or even fries, they're it still could come out pretty decent. You know what I mean? Like, don't knock it until you try it.
It still has that crisp to the food. So yeah. But you can tell a little bit of difference. If you go to a restaurant and then you get something fried in oil.
Certain things, but don't think of diet as a... Yeah, you have to figure it out. Like even our son, like he's in training right now to do a competition. Like he doesn't eat like a not a bird, but he's so healthy right now. Like he's clean for like at least 5-6 days, at least 5 days out of the week. And towards the weekend, he tries to get his cheat meals in. So, I think if you're in a position where weight loss is a big problem, try cutting up for 5 days. Hopefully you could do 5 days to help yourself out.
Yeah, but don't binge like crazy on the weekend. He doesn't binge insane either.
Learn control. But like to say like, yo, I want a burger.
But he also puts in the work. So to me, you can't really. But there's nothing unhealthy about a burger. Just don't go to Mickey D's. Make your burger at home. Real meat. Maybe if it's a problem for you, then skip the carb on the bread and wrap it in a thing. But if you really want, in lettuce. But if you really want that one burger, I think it's not a big deal. Just have that carb on that weekend.
Yeah, and drink more water.
Yeah.
Skip the juices, honestly. Because
like everything is about balance.
Juice is always going to have some type of sugar in there, which is not going to help you either.
So, I guess that's it for today. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe, follow. It's getting very hard to remember all the words.
You guys know what to do if you've been following us.
Or following anyone. Like even if I watch something, I'll just like it. If I watch the whole thing, just because I know how it feels, just to help the person out. People are spending time doing this and, it's a lot of work. It turns out it's a lot more work than I expected to do this whole thing, but it's fun. And I like sharing, like talking, sharing information. And hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Share it with anyone you think might enjoy this information or might need to hear it.
Just so you guys know who's been listening to these two, we tend to split up the podcast now into 3 sections, so smaller, more like on topic. So each
podcast is basically 4. It will be the full podcast, and then it will be the 3 segments, 3 topics.
Yep. So I guess the family type topics, the finance topics, family. What was it? Family, money. What is it? The middle one.
Relationships, marriage and stuff, business, money, investment, and taboo. Anything religion, anything goes in taboo. Okay, that's it. Wrapping it up for episode 7. Thank you for tuning in and joining us. This is Chris and Cappy with Bun and Build.
See you guys.
Bye. Yeah, we're doing the peace sign.